G'day, citizens. Welcome to Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by old man hosting himself, Algared. How you doing, buddy?
I'm pretty well. I execute pretty well. Can't complain too much at all. Our agents are out gathering resources still. It's a wonderful world to be in.
Gathering uwu girls? Like there's like less of them in and
Now, execute. You know that Uber girls are just a figment of your imagination when you've been taking too much Epicrack.
I don't think so.
See how much of a crack he takes. That's just the proof.
You wish. Alrighty. Yeah, so it's been an interesting week, this one. About 45 minutes ago, they dropped the PTU, which has got the Apollo in it. I did have a really quick walkthrough of it. Some people are calling for a walkthrough already.
I know. I saw that. I was going to say no, you must wait.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I can because I don't own it. And from what I'm hearing from people, you have to own it. They didn't give it to Eva Cardi. They didn't give it to content creators. You have to own it. And that's a first for a long time that they've done that.
Now, hopefully that's just an oversight. But at least in terms of...
I could probably load it up in the background and have a look. I'll do that. I'll have a quick look and see if I can find
Since
the
the download for you has only just finished.
Yeah. But yeah, it took like 40 minutes to download. There's quite a lot of people trying to get in, and I know apparently there's a large queue as well. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get in, but we'll try. I gotta get the bot off the ground as well, so let me try that. Though she hasn't been working too well the last couple of weeks. Messages from Piss Poor Pete harassing me already. That's good to see.
Petey's giving you a bit of grief, is he?
Yeah, usually.
I'm going to start othifying his name.
Yeah. All right. So the bot is up. So yeah, get some questions in. I did have some stuff to go over though. I do have. So we'll go over some of this real quick before we get in. And so they changed a lot of medical stuff. They essentially prices and the cost to revive them there. So they've essentially made everything cheaper. Again, I'm expecting this all to change again. Is it?
Yeah. And when you were first talking about the prices, we said those prices are going to be adjusted to fit the gameplay. And we know that as the game develops, that both prices are going to be going backwards and forwards until they get the right balance.
Absolutely.
And at some point, if they need to, they'll even reduce it again or increase it again. So
yeah, I agree. And it's just going to be the nature of a development. Like I was saying to Algared before the stream, like I sat through that 3-hour SCL yesterday, and there was not a lot in it for someone that's been in the game a very long time. It was really just like these were our plans. This is kind of where we're up to. We've still got this, and this to go. Oh, that was the other one, Algared. Engineering by the end of the year. Was I just remember the third thing I had to do. Yeah, well, that's what they're trying to go for. No game server is currently available to join. The region is possibly at capacity. Are you serious? I can't even get into the PTE. Wow. Oh, yep, I can't get in. I can't get into the game.
So
it's full.
There you go. It's full.
Yeah, so there's so many people trying to look at the Apollo. It's full. Which is interesting. I don't think
that's a first.
That's a first for me as a Evo Cardi tester. Not being able to get into the PTU is a weird one. But yeah. All right. Well, maybe we'll try a little later and see if we can get in. But yeah.
And thank you, Stimpack, for the both questions you put in to test the bot.
Yes, thank you. During the week, I did post this on X, actually, so I need to open this. And I did send it to you, didn't I, as well?
You did.
I did. So Grim sent this to me, and I agree with him 100%. I don't know if this is Grim's image, but give credit where credit is due. And so basically, there's two images of the Paladin there. The number off the side is also on the helmet. And you'll notice, I believe they call those chevrons off the stripes off the Paladin, not also on the suit. So it's highly likely, putting 2 and 2 together, that we could be getting the Paladin at CitizenCon. It does kind of line up with the monthly reports as well. I did kind of think that, reading it the other week. But yeah, even if it's not, I think we can safely say at minimum, it's a flight suit for the Paladin.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But heavily implies that it's coming. And it kind of makes sense that you'd want to separate the two gunships, the Perseus and the Paladin. Like having them come at the same time is a bit, that kind of chew each other a little bit in sales. I mean, like it's like when you got to make people choose between two gunships. So separating them by at least a month from me in my head makes marketing sense. I don't know if that does the same for you. But yeah, do you think that implies that it's coming at CitizenCon, or is it just a
no? Look, I think it if it was 42s and everything else, I'd be saying it's Squadron. But the fact that it's the same numbers from the Paladin that's on the flight suit, I'd say that very strongly indicates that they're linked. And that and if that's coming at CitizCon, then I'd assume the Paladin's also coming at CitizCon.
Yeah. Well, that's
the other thing that makes
so that is definitely coming at CitizenCon because it's the digital goodies.
Yeah. So by extrapolation, I'd expect that to be the same for the Paladin. The other thing that makes me think of is, does the flight suit, if that is a flight suit for the Paladin, does that indicate we're also starting to move towards that you can only wear certain types of armor when you're piloting? So they get moving. You know, they used to say you won't be able to wear your heavy armor when you're flying certain ships.
Yeah.
Is this a first step toward moving in that direction? So.
Well, yeah, we do have some of the racing suits with the compression and stuff. So certain military ones you would assume have the same type of thing for those extra Gs and stuff. We do have those in real life. So yeah, I'd hope. Well, again, they talked about that at CitizenCon. You know, the right, essentially changing class in this game is changing your armor type of thing. So I think that's kind of interesting. I do actually have one of these to give away. I did pick up a DigitalCon goodies pack, but now I'm sitting here, I'm actually thinking about putting you in the hot seat. And I want to play a game, and I'm just trying to think about how I can do it. So what I'm thinking, right, is Algared's going to block 3 of you. That's just one thing. So I'm going to have 3 questions, and then we're going to get 3 people on voice, and they're going to team up. And if they can defeat you once in those 3 questions, I'll upgrade it from a from this to a ship. We'll call it Cockblocker, and Algared can be the Cockblocker. Which direction you're out? I don't know. I gotta think of it. But some kind of little game, and if you lose, they win a ship. But if you win, you've got 3 chances to. You got to block them, Algared. Like it's gonna test your knowledge. Yeah.
I don't know. I hate being put on the spot.
I know you do. That's why I'm doing it. It's only questions. It's just trivia questions. I'll make them up. So I'll know that you roughly know them.
I don't know.
All you're doing is if you lose, they win a ship. If they win, they just, and if they lose, they just get the DigitalCon goodies back. But only one of them can win it.
Yeah, that's the problem. If all 3 beat me.
Yeah, but if no, the first person to beat you, they get it. And if none of them beat you, then I'll just make them. I'll do a wheel thing and just spin it off, and the winner gets the prize.
I don't know.
All right. Well, I'll let chat try and convince you.
I'm not convinced, and it'll take a lot to convince me. I'm one of those people. I tend to know a lot of crap.
Well, this is the thing. Chat's going to have to work out who they want the 3 to be to represent them. Because if they get no offense, if they get an idiot, they instantly lose. You see, it's a wickedly evil plan because they've got to work together and they can't just put anyone up, because if they put anyone up, they're going to lose. I love it.
Yes, but you see, the people who go up are the only people who win. So it's yes, it could be a great game show, but not now. No. You're not convincing me.
We've got 3 hours, Algared. We've got 3 hours. We've got all the time in the world.
No, we've got 3 hours. That's only 240 minutes.
I am sure that
180 minutes.
I'm sure in that time, Twitch. Maybe we get 1 from Twitch and 2 from YouTube.
Oh, definitely Chris, because he's drunk. Yeah, Chris. He's drunk.
Again, you if you guys work together, so we're at least giving away a DigitalCon goodies back. I think the ship I'll probably give away is probably a Nomad. I think it's a Foundation Festival one from last year that I've got there somewhere. So apparently that like saying the Halloween paints have been leaked. Let's have a quick look and see if I can see anything.
Yep, that'd be nice to see.
They got a few things in here actually we can have a look at. So prepare for spoilers. If you don't want to see, look away now. So this is they're going to come out black, unfortunately, because they're obviously the little paint screens. So this is one of the Medivac ones. They've got a concierge looking one. This is almost like the Solstice Algared. So they are all going to be small because they're thumbnails. So I do apologize, but that's how they come.
I don't mind that. Black and gold.
The other three are a bit weird. So this one's almost like the Phoenix we were talking about, but they're all kind of the last three are kind of the same, where it's just those little back sections. And then the one instead of orange, you got blue, which kind of goes in line with the inside Zeus-looking aesthetics. And then there's a black and white one. Does not want to open for some reason. I'm trying. Yeah, there we go. And then obviously you'd have the plain white that comes on the triage, and the red the red on the triage and the blue on the Medivac. I do find it interesting that the red is going to be kind of a unique skin now on the triage because,
which makes sense.
Oh, that is nice. Okay, so there's 3 gothic paints for the Cutlass. I don't know what these are, but they actually kind of look kind of nice. And there are 3, they're similar patterns, but they are all distinct. And then there's this one. They kind of look cool. I think that's got a tie-in with the suit we saw, you know, the concierge kind of pirate suit that was leaked. And then there's some Halloween paints here, and I'm not sure if I want to open all of these because there's a Polaris, a couple of different variants of the Guardian, 3 different variants of the Guardian, a couple of different Raven ones, a couple of different Saber ones. So I'll probably just open up one of each. So here's the Polaris, which is really hard to see. It appears to be like red glass. Is all I can kind of really see in that one. And if I was to open, like, say, the Guardian one, I think the colors would be kind of come more clear. It's like black with copper. I'm wondering if that's actually the best in show paint, because I heard a rumor that it was based on copper. Could be wrong. But that's not a best in show ship, so that can't be the case, can it? What was the other one? And then they had a Saber. This is one of the Ravens. I believe this is the Peregrine Toque. And then they've got the other variants in there. So it's the Sabers, the Vanguards, and the Polaris. So it's kind of like a black and copper type of look. So it looks like they're going for a gothic-y vibe for Halloween based on the Cutlass and the names that we've got here. If there's anything else.
Very Wednesday-ish, I would say.
Yes, that's probably what they've leaned into.
But I've got to admit that
here we go.
The Saber one did remind me of a Tholian from Star Trek.
Yeah. So here's one of them all together. So, I'll just open them and we'll go back through them. So yeah, they're a bit easy to see properly on the white. So yeah, there's the 3 gothic ones. Essentially one for Cutlass red, black, and blue is what I'm imagining there. So they've made independent variants. All the different Saber. There's one missing from this image though, which is the other 2 Guardian variants. They just chopped those off. I don't know why. And then all the Apollo paints. I think it's got to be the bottom right one. Yeah, Algared, or the concierge are the 2 that speak to me.
The concierge.
Yeah, which I believe they'll call that the Solstice based on what they called the Zeus.
Given that the Hurston likes a lot of gold, I think the concierge is actually Hurston. It's just Hurston deco. Nothing new. Nothing
please,
special,
Lemming. Please, Lemming, feel free to drop in, bud. Absolutely. Maybe get Lemming to organize this this game idea I have in my head if he's up for it. Algared doesn't seem up for it, but I'm going to put him on the spot because I'm good at doing that. And I know your knowledge enough to know that you will smash it, Algared. It'll be fine.
Hey,
would I throw you under the bus like that?
Yes, all the time. You know that. Everyone else knows that too. Come on.
Yeah, but I'm not like I would not want them to win just as much as you would want them to win. So it's this fine balance. Again, they've got 3 chances to win. They've only got to win once, so I'm definitely going to make it hard. So yeah. All right, Lemming's in channel, but he's muted, so obviously he's setting himself up. So yeah.
Yep.
Alrighty. Let's continue through this until we get Lemming in. So there was, yeah. So that was just the post I put up on Twitter. Nothing special there. John Crew did post something interesting though. He posted this that GoGo are trying to get Freelancer on good old Galaxy. I thought that was kind of interesting. So that I mean that's an interesting way to bring it back, right? Because then it'll last forever, and it'll just run on a digital platform. So it's kind of a cool thing to see.
Yep.
And they've got a lot of upvotes on there. So yeah, I think it'd be good for people to go back and maybe visit Freelancer just before Star System comes out.
Look, I think based on the storyline that Chris does, Freelancer is will be very much in that line of gameplay. Like even when you used to do I forgot the other one.
We're in Algared. We're in, right. I don't know if it's going to carry over. It probably won't straight away. Hang on. Oh, it did. There we go. Cool, sweet. All right, well, we can have a look now. All right, keep going.
But even if the storylines were based on what he did for the precursor to Freelancer, and the name's just gone out of my head. Just can't remember it.
Wing Commander?
Wing Commander, thank you so much. Just went absolutely blank. But the Wing Commander series, even with that, there were the arcs where you could go one way or another way, and depending on your choices would influence the outcome slightly.
I think there's a differentiation there though too, because he's essentially been making two games, the multiplayer one and the single player one. So Wing Commander's Squadron and
Freelancer is Star Citizen.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And you can see from the development of those games that's what he's doing with Squadron and Star Citizen is what he's always wanted to do. Yeah. It's not, in a sense, it is two games, and yet
he had all those
would play Freelancer would say it's the same thing. It's just
he had those publisher restrictions essentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm assuming I don't have access. Let's have a look. Just from what I've been told. Yeah, see nothing. So I can't show you anyway. After all that, they did not give us.
So access. You'll have to wait. That's all you've got to do. Just got to wait. Wait until I've downloaded it.
Yep. It's fine. You'd have to get in. Well, we won't be able to show him though, Algared, because I won't be able to get into game with you at the same time because you can't.
It's okay. Algared has like 16 of them.
Yeah, he probably does.
Sorry, what's that?
Lemming was saying you've got 16 copies of the Apollo.
So, yeah. No, just 2. I've probably got 16 copies in buyback.
Yeah.
But that was back in the day when you could buy ship and melt it and use credits and all that other stuff.
No, that's not a Carrack. That's one of the other ships. A lot of his older games do tip their hat to the names of ships. Obviously, Freelancer ship. He even has a go at Electronic Arts and stuff like that. And I think like Electronic Access for the Anvil is the name. What was it? Digital Anvil was one of his studios.
Digital Anvil and
stuff like that.
Origin Systems was another game he worked at.
So a lot of the game companies and stuff like that, they're in Star Citizen. He's literally just put them in there.
In fact, if you look at the Origin Games original logo, which is one of the places he first started, and you look at the logo for Origin, there seems to be a very vague, kind of circular.
Yeah. Very, very still. Yeah, he definitely carried a lot of his legacy over. Right. So what did you want to talk about, Lemming, while you're here?
Oh, nothing in particular. I just wanted to drop in for a little bit.
Oh, okay, no worries.
That's because you can. And you're always welcome.
Most welcome too. We don't have a lot of questions though. I was hoping there'd be a lot more questions this week, but the people have not put them in. Oh, I do have one thing I want to talk about. So when it came to this stuff, I had a lot of people asking me about the 2 armors over on the right. I believe that they are variants of Shipjacker armor. And one of them is the Mohawk there. You can kind of see it looks a bit junky. And there's this one over here. But I do think that the one on the right could possibly be this Shipjacker armor that we saw years ago. I think it's probably changed a little bit and got a little bit leaner As you can see, if I go back to the photo, it's probably got a little leaner, but there are some very similar, like see the little circular motifs and bits on it? It is very similar. See the circle? It's very, very similar. So I think that it is kind of a little bit, not exactly Squadron related, but Shipjacker related.
And which franchise does that really feel like it's taking inspiration from?
The whole bunch there that you could be. I think it's a bounty hunting armor, basically.
Franchise.
Predator.
Which film franchise?
Predator.
Yeah, it's so much Predator, isn't it?
Star Wars, like take your pick really at this point. Man, you could, if you carried up the helmet, you could almost say it was a medieval barbarian, you know, but if this is the case, it's going to be a very popular, if people that didn't buy it, they're going to want to go back and buy it type of thing. So I'm almost tempted to buy a second one just to hold on to. We'll put it this way. Last year's CitizenCon goodies pack now sells for $300.
Yeah.
That's pretty bananas.
Well,
Lucky
thank you.
Charms says, you guys rock. Thank you very much for the $20, bro.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Never
Thank you so
expected, but appreciate it.
Always appreciated. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly what the other one's going to be, but again, like, say maybe we can have a look into the Shipjacker stuff. I did look it up briefly, and this is what came up. I just didn't have a lot of time to go further, but it looks like I'd be willing to bet it's one of the other concepts that's probably just had a mohawk added to it or something like that. And they were some of the cooler ones, if you remember. I could probably pull it up real quickly. Just give me a second. Shipjacker armor Citizen. So this is all I searched last time, right? And there was this one, which we now know there's a pack at the moment where this is for sale with the for Pirate Week. And there was this one. Do you remember these at all, Algared? I know they're really old now. Like this one.
I certainly remember the cow head.
It was
hated the cow head.
It was way back when they were doing the cow heads, but they never brought the other ones out. Like the cow head was kind of like the medium, and then there was like a heavy and a light. And they've just never ever brought them out. And if I, again, just to reinforce my point here, if I go back to the RSI website and we go to the, I'm assuming they're on the shop right now for Pirate Week. Oh no, they did have them in here. Hang on. We should probably talk about this too, to be honest with you. It's really annoying to get to this though, right? So you go to more info, it gives you nothing, right? To get to the actual info, this is how I had to get there. I had to add it to cart. I then had to go to the checkout. That's how annoying it was, right? There's no way to get to this page without doing it this way. And then when it brought it up in the cart, I then had to click it to go back to see what it was. And then it brought it up. But this is the armor I'm talking about, Algared. This one here.
Yep.
So it's included in the pack. Now this has been in game for ages, right? But it's now part of a pack. So I'm wondering if that's a theme. And I know Pirate Week and CitizenCon are not exactly linked. But I don't know, you tell me, Algared. I can't really, and Lemming, I can't really get away from, like, that's not normal armor. You can kind of just tell in the silhouette. It's different.
So I sent you a screenshot of what somebody put in Discord. And that's fan art, I guess. Again, not my image.
Yeah, but, I don't agree with that. I will show it, but I don't think it's that at all. It's too different from the ones in the image. You can just tell looking like it's got a mohawk on it.
It was the other one.
Yeah, and the second one's got a slight ridge.
Yeah, it's more like this, if anything, because it's got the circle and the cables. And when you go back to this, you can kind of see the circle motif there on the cheek. Again, I could be completely off base, but again, I think you would agree with me. That looks a lot more like junk armor than the usual. Like, well, look at what he's wearing there, right? It's kind of smooth. It's more military-esque. I can see the silhouette of it, and I can kind of tell. But when you look over there, you can see sharp bits coming out the sides and little angular bits, so it looks more shipjackery. And I think anyone that's played the game long enough would agree. This one, I think, is just clothing. But there are some, like, again, I don't know if, like, we're seeing another price increase, by the way, because last year it was $30, now it's $35. But if you open it, it does have was it 2 or 3 guns in it? Yeah, 3 guns in it. So see how annoying this is? You can't see properly. Again, fix your website, please. It's kind of annoying. But yeah, there's a fair bit in it this year, but I wonder if that's to make up for the fact that we're only getting 2 hours. So hey, same as the same, man.
It may well be. It may well be.
Yeah.
I would have thought that was pretty much the case.
Yeah. So yeah.
Hey, SA, good to see you on stuff. If you're free to pop in if you're
want to join in, man. Time. So this was the PTU patch notes, but that's obviously outdated now because of that. This I did want to talk about really quickly. So they announced that they're coming to Australia in February through Atmo Esports. Now, you and I have been talking to them for a while about them coming down, but I actually think that this won't be the only event that they do based on talks that we've had with them. So they're only going to be in a panel for an hour, and this costs like 90 Australian dollars or something akin to that. So I'm almost tempted not to go to this because I know that they're probably more than likely going to do another event as well, like a more BIG event. And they're probably going to do it at more than one city down here. Based on the fact that Sydney and Melbourne are about the same size now.
When I was discussing it with Sandy and looking at if and when, we were looking at around February because that, end of January, beginning of February was the date that seemed to be the most settling on. Yeah. In Sydney, we were looking at venues. Fortress is probably the best venue at the moment. Before that, for numbers that can take about 150. That fits for that. It does tend to be fairly good. The last Bar Citizen we had was a Fortress, so I wouldn't be surprised, even if they do other events, I wouldn't be surprised to see them do Fortress again.
So there is an actual CIG meet and greet here. So there is 2 sessions. So there's a 1 hour session here and then an hour and a half session. So technically, maybe that is the only event in Sydney then. We'll see.
I know that Sandy was also looking at doing 2 or 3 events.
Just locking it all behind a very large paywall kind of annoys me because, again, in most cases, I don't think everyone's going to be it's a racing event. I think locking it behind a racing event is the thing that kind of annoys me more, though, is, and don't take this the wrong way, but this is an American company, Atmo Esports, and then it's an Australian event. That kind of annoys me a little bit. I would have much rather seen the Australian Bar Citizen scene run this rather than an American company. Like, they're literally flying people from America over to host this event, and that kind of annoys me. I would have much preferred to. I know Croncy's tied up with them, right? For example, but again, like if I came over and I flew into Florida and I took over a Florida event, it wouldn't be in good taste. So yeah, it just kind of annoys me a little bit. Let Australia. We don't get a lot of time in the sun, and the fact that you're stealing it kind of pisses me off. But that's just me, and that's my axe to grind. But yeah. Again, Croncy's only a part of it, though. He's not all of it, right? Most of it is American-based, and Croncy's not at every single event. So, yeah, let us have our time in the sun. Like, any Australian organisation could have run that. Echo Bit and the guys over there at Enzia could have done
Racing.
Croncy could have done it independently. General Desperado could have done it. We could have done it. The whole Bar Citizen community could have done it. I just don't understand why it's an American.
The last Bar Citizen that was held at Fortress was organised by Australians.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
So that's the issue. Look, I get it. I get the idea of the esports. I know it's something that CIG had always wanted. Like, I can remember them talking about the Murray Cup and eventually being that, and that's one of the reasons why we started the Crux Cup as being a precursor to the regional. As we saw it, you'd have the Murray Cup being the championship of all the regional events, and then all the regional centres would do their champions and then send them off to a Murray Cup. So we created the Crux Cup to be the regional competitor for the Murray Cup.
I was veteran saying I should nominate myself. No, I don't think I would. I'd do it if I was asked, but I wouldn't really put my hand up. It's just not my nature to do that. Like, I can do it. I've done, I was a stand-up comedian for a couple of years, so like I've done all that. I can talk in front of people. I'm easy, but most people see me as too crazy because of the the comedy side of me. Like I come off as a crazy lunatic, but I can be quite serious.
Well, it's because you are a crazy lunatic,
yeah,
but that's okay.
But you would agree, Algared, I can also be quite serious. you know me better than anyone. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's something I'd be completely comfortable doing. I'd be more like if I think of it like Quantum Vegas, where they had people that looked after individual guests, that's something I'd probably be more comfortable with. So if they did like like a sit down with Tyler or Sandy or Chris and do that one-on-one, like I've done an interview with Chris, right? I'm one of the few people that have. It would be kind of cool. Like, and I even said that when we were at CitizenCon, I really wanted to sit down with Chris and do that 10-year catch up. I thought it would have been really cool. But it just never ever eventuated due to time and shit like that. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I've got a sneaking suspicion though that this won't be the only event. I just find it really weird that they'll come all the way to Australia and only do one.
When and based on that, when we were talking, certainly when we were muting the ideas of a February, January visit, and originally the plan was, and I think the plan was for that visit to time with Squadron 42, because originally we were looking at 25, we were looking at so around that date, tying it in with also the World Tour, and that just didn't eventuate due to Squadron, I think, being slow and being behind where they expected to be. So I think this ties with that. But when we were talking, there was also discussion about New Zealand, visit to Melbourne as well. So
but long story short, I hope Crunchy's doing the heavy lifting on this one. If Crunchy's doing the heavy lifting, I don't have a problem. But I from things I'd heard from other events, you know what I'm talking about. I'd heard other things. That there's someone pushing their way in, and that I don't want to happen again after last time. So yeah, I hope Crunchy's doing some heavy lifting. Yeah, we'll wait and see. I don't know if I'm going to go yet though. I'd rather. I'm not a fan of. I like discussions, you know that, right? The way you and I do things. So I'd much rather be there and mingle, than sit in chairs and watch races and stuff like that. It's not my forte.
Not sure how they're doing. How that will be set up in Fortress, because the way Fortress is kind of different areas and different booths and
stuff. Well, they say something about a tavern. I did highlight it. It says CRG meeting and greet in tavern.
Well, what is Fortress?
Like a big gaming thing here. If I scroll down, there's a picture here somewhere. Hang on. Yeah, like this. There you go.
Okay.
But
hey, gents.
ASA.
Hey, ASA. So Fortress has that, but it's also got basically a gamer's nightclub. So you go there. There's literally a tavern, bar, and everything else. But there's also booths with gaming consoles and places you could play games and do other stuff.
Now we know where he collects the uwu girl.
That's because you go to a tavern and you drink too much Evercrack, and then you see uwu girls. Yes.
I keep spinning this drug line, aren't you? That's right.
Yep.
You'll keep. Right. I think that's everything I kind of wanted to show. That is everything. Yeah, that's basically everything I had. Yeah. So last thing I'd say is go sign up for Freelancer, because I think that'll be good
now,
for all of us.
Hustle Bones, I'm assuming you're just trying to stir the pot, because New Zealanders would hate what you've just said. New Zealand is an Australian island like Tasmania, right? Actually, no. Geographically, it's its own continent.
They, for a while back in the day when they were founding it, they were talking about making it like the 8th state or whatever it was meant to be, but they it was the 7th at the time, but they've now would be the 8th, but they ended up becoming their own in the end.
I have heard it used to be. I don't know whether it still is, but New Zealand was actually included in the Australian Constitution as a founding state. Okay, and the reason they did that was if New Zealand ever decided to join in, it would mean we wouldn't have to change the Constitution to do that, because we're lazy.
Our flags are very similar. It's essentially we have white stars. They have kind of like red stars. It's probably the quickest, easiest way to explain it. Yeah.
If they did join, the Australian flag would have to change.
Yeah. Okay. Hustle Bones is slowly getting more and more insulting. So I think we'll just cut off this discussion right there. Like it's just Yeah. He's just like, and then he just went up and goes, America, bro. It's all Britain to me, right? It's I'm an American, bro. Well, that's like me saying America's Britain. Like it's because realistically, that's where we all came from. I think that was the thing for like, yeah. Anyway.
Britain, the 51st state someday. Dream on.
I saw this
he's almost getting to the point where he's, they almost need to be muted.
Well, he's a fellow American. That's what we do.
Yeah, he's just bantering. Don't worry about it. There was a really cool little video someone sent me during the week, and if I could remember who it was, I'd bring it. It was like a little TikTok thing that came up, and there was an American that had been living in Australia for like the last decade or whatever, and he was explaining the states of Australia to Americans, and he was like going around all the states, and he goes, "Oh, Tasmania, this is like our Alaska." And then he goes off to He goes off to WA. Oh, maybe it was you that linked it to me. He goes off to WA. He goes, "Oh, this is Texas," and it's actually pretty on point. I was actually pretty impressed.
I thought it was funny that all of them were southern states.
A lot of them were. Yeah. Was it you that sent it to me? I'm trying to remember who sent it to me.
No, but somebody linked it in the Discord. I think it's in media.
Yeah, that's probably where it was. Media and links. Hang on, I'm looking now. Give me a second, because it's worth bringing up because it was quite funny. And it just gives you a little
in chat. Sangroper does.
Well, and for
which is maybe we could swap out Tasmania for New Zealand. That's a state,
No.
For those that don't know internationally, and Lemon, you jump in on this too. Americans really do respect Australia, Tasmania, New Zealand, like all the states. Quite a bit. Like, you guys have been there for us. We know you well, and we joke, but we joke because we love.
Well, that's the same thing with us, right? Lemon, can you link it to me? I'm having trouble finding it, mate.
Yeah, I'll find it.
I can't find it. Oh yeah, it's because I think it was a pretty realistic.
Actually, I think Sandgroper is the one that linked it.
Oh, was it? Of course it was Sandgroper. Of course it was. Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
He'll like that because he's Western Australia, I think. Well, he likes being a Texan.
Let's do a question, Algared. Why we'll let Lemming try and find that.
Yep. So Bowler 999999999. Did you watch Chris Porn's video on the escape pods on the Paladin? No.
Who? Chris Pones? No, I have not had a chance to see Chris Pones stuff. He did link me all his stuff though. He linked me all the images he did during the week to show off. So when we ever want to look at that, where is it here? So
I found it. It was not a Sandgroper. Sorry.
So here, So he gave me a bunch of these that whenever we want to talk about it, we can talk about them. So he did a bunch of different ones, and this is the one.
Did you want me to put it in chat?
Yeah, just send it, PM it to me, and then I can open it straight away. I've got your window open, ready to go, because you sent me that helmet already.
Okay.
That's very pretty.
Yeah. So he's done some really cool, interesting ones. Like, so this is the one that he thought along the lines of that it could extract out through the landing gear, stuff like that. So yeah. All right, let's have a quick look at this. Hopefully we don't get copyright striked or anything, but usually happens. So here we go.
It's come to my attention that a lot of my fan base are American, and a lot of them think I'm British.
Make sure to change the audio.
I'm a dual citizen, but I live.
Shit. Hang on. I don't think I got filters on anymore. Oh, I do have a noise suppression. Okay. Shit. Hang on. Wait. Tell me if you can hear it better now. Hang on. I'll reset it.
It's come to my attention that a lot of my fan base are American, and a lot of them think I'm British. And you are half right. I'm a dual citizen, but I live in Australia. Australia and America are pretty close these days, and we're not that different. This is Australia described for American. It's going to be so goddamn American, I need a hat. Let's go. So this is Australia, the great southern continent. Over here, we have Canberra. This is our Washington, D.C. You've never heard of it before. Full of politicians, public servants, and it's boring as hell. Down here we have Tasmania. This is our Alaska. Cold, conservative, and the people are interesting. Next, moving along, South Australia. Utah. We got Adelaide, the city of churches. Weirdly religious state, but also a lot of crazy stuff happens there, so it's also kind of like Nevada. Next, Western Australia. Texas. This is our mining state. Not only is it Australia...
I kind of want to pause it and kind of go through and back him up on some of these. So Adelaide is the city of churches, but it's also got like more brothels than almost anywhere else in Australia. That's why it's a lot like Las Vegas.
Probably also more German pubs than anywhere else in the country.
And the reason he goes Tasmanian people are interesting like that is because they all call us like your version of rednecks. They call us like
they're all inbred.
Well, that's what they say. Or they all say we've got two heads and stuff like that. It's just that that's not necessarily the case, but there are some people down here that are very rednecky. We call them bogans.
I was going to say bogans.
Yeah, so very similar to that, but no, not all that way. But it's just a very regional area. To put in perspective, we grow 72% of all the food for the entirety of Australia because there's not a lot of green land.
I'm gonna every time you say that, it makes me go no.
Go look it up and go. You've only got to look at a map of Australia with the foliage, and it's mostly all in Tasmania.
Again, I think that's a bit of BS. But
anyway,
okay, you're entitled to that. That's okay.
Oh, okay, and until you go look up the facts and can prove me wrong, that is the facts that I have. Anyway, let's continue.
Australia's largest state, it is constantly threatening to secede. Next, Northern Territory. The northern part.
So yeah, that is like Texas because of the mining and stuff. But I don't know. You don't do a lot of mining in Texas, do you? But it's
no.
Yeah, but it's
oil.
Yeah, well, instead of oil, it's mining, so it's similar. Yeah.
And that's true. They do keep threatening to secede, but they're also were bribed into joining the Federation right at the beginning by having a rail line built.
And they're also the remote. Perth is the most remote city on the planet. It's further from any other city on the planet. So it's quite the reason why the state's so big is it's basically all desert. And again, he's about to talk about Darwin, and that's a lot like Arizona because that's desert as well.
Alabama, for the south in central Australia here, that is raw desert, kind of like Arizona. In the middle here, you have Uluru, that is an ancient indigenous site, and it's kind of like our Grand Canyon. Next, Queensland. Queensland. Townsville up to Cairns here, that is our Florida. We are talking crocodiles, we are talking rednecks, we are talking politicians that say unhinged things. However, Brisbane all the way up to Mackay here, that is the Carolinas. God's waiting room. This is where all people live out their lives. Next, the Gold Coast.
What do you want to say? Because you're from Carolina.
No, I mean, so yeah, I am. I'm from North Carolina. Well, I'm in North Carolina, and I've adopted the state. I moved here when I started my military career. So, what I would say is we do have alligators. We are very diverse, zoology wise. Like we have bears, brown bears, alligators, a ton of incredibly deadly snakes and spiders, which makes us somewhat related to you. But when it comes down to alligators, I was raised in my early years in Louisiana. Louisiana is an entire other country in the United States. It is the most messed up place in so many ways. So I would say if you're going to really compare about wildlife and, a strange place to be where, with fauna, that would be it.
All right, we're almost done.
That's our Jersey Shore, baby. Fake tanned bimbos, himbos, and parties. Next you have Port Macquarie up to Lismore. Let's say that's Massachusetts. Port Macquarie is kind of Boston. However, you got the central part here, Virginia. But then you have Sydney, where I'm from. Sydney is our Los Angeles. It's full of celebrities and tourists. There's also the perfect balance of scummy and fun. And counter to that, we have Melbourne, our New York. Arty and scummy and hella pretentious. It's also the only place in Australia you can experience the whole year's seasons in a day. However, the rest of Victoria, let's just call it Illinois. And that's Australia, baby. So it's come to my attention that a lot...
It's pretty close. Like I think he's done a pretty good job. So
the joke, and certainly the joke that we have about Canberra is we developed the city just to put our politicians. So to get them away from everyone else. So yeah.
I mean that's what we did. So.
Well, but the real reason Canberra is where it is because Sydney and Melbourne were arguing over where the capital should be. So.
Same thing here. They didn't. So they created Washington D.C. Because they were arguing about where it should be.
Oh, there you go.
Probably where
we've had multiple capitals, by the way. If you didn't know that, Philadelphia and New York were our capitals before Washington D.C.
And it was kind of done as a bribe for the South to stop making noise,
to not have a civil war.
Look, I lived in Canberra for a couple of years, and it was really weird because you'd know when so there's a suburb called Fyshwick. right? And that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is when you would know when the politicians got out, because there'd be a process of like almost like a funeral procession, like a big parade of all the politicians' cars going from the centre of Canberra, from Parliament House to Fyshwick. And it wouldn't surprise you when I then tell you that all the brothels were in Fyshwick.
Okay, there you go.
just get off and go, yep, I'm going for a bit of relaxation. It was like everyone knew what they were doing, but like nobody ever says anything.
Now, for a long time, also in Australia, firecrackers were banned.
Oh yeah, you could get them.
Canberra was the one place you could buy firecrackers all year round.
Yeah, so, yeah, and we did use them a lot there too.
So, quick question
about
a
game show. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Essa.
No, man. Go ahead, Lemmy.
Do you have a game show in Australia called Quiz with Balls?
Quiz with Balls? No, I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
No.
Okay. We have a game show that showed here in the States. It's called Quiz with Balls. And I guess it's taped in Australia. It's like recorded in Australia. It's very strange. Yep, that's it.
Never
you're bringing us down a dark path.
Heard of it.
Never heard of it.
What, they flew some Americans over to film it here?
Yep. It's on its second season.
Yeah,
I didn't know about this. But American game shows are a dangerous thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, I would take it up a notch. Japanese game shows are a dangerous thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's just weird.
Do you remember the what was it, Takeshi's Castle? And one of them was like this giant fan, and they had the guys with the foam on their back, and they're trying to walk towards the fan. Just like some of the stupidest shit. When we were kids.
I would say that Japanese game shows are fun, but American game shows try to actually hurt your soul.
So are they just like giant balls that roll down after you or something? That's what it kind of looks like.
I imagine if you get the question wrong, you get squashed by the ball.
Yeah. So each ball is an answer.
What you're saying is you want to play this with Algared, and we try and cause Algared physical pain. Is that what you're trying to say? That's what I'm hearing. I didn't want to cause Algared pain, but if you guys want to, then maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, if that's the whole game show, we're not involving like giant spiders, crocodiles, or drop bears. Why would you record this in Australia, not just the States?
Drop bears and yetis, yeah.
I'm curious enough that I'll probably watch one episode later.
Yeah, so, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'll give it a chance, but yeah, okay. I don't know why they'd film it here. Is it safety regulations that we got lower?
It's got to be something
lower safety regulations. It's like, hey, if we just film it, no, it's probably cheaper too. It's because of the US dollar and stuff, so it probably goes further when they come here.
Giant balls rolling down a ramp.
Well, we know they've done that with films.
It's not exactly complicated.
Like they filmed Star Wars here, episodes 2 and 3, because it was cheaper to film them here.
Yeah. Well, Fox
but
Studios.
That's Star Wars.
Yeah, but again,
not giant balls rolling down a ramp.
But again, the cost to build that stage with all the balls and stuff, like it probably just worked out cheaper because it was such a big stage to build it here. Yeah, and there's more space here, so everything just costs less. And anyway, all right, let's do some questions. Hey, Algared.
Another question. Stimpack said, when 1.0 releases, do you think the Hull E will be a good ship to make game money with? Probably not. I think I would expect when you get more systems than just the original 5, but go on, X.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, but you're also going to need a lot of people to move that. It's the amount of cargo is worth more than the ship. I remember that from back at the concept sale. So that is a fleet ship. It is an entire org moving a lot of cargo. Like that is, I think everyone agrees. As time's gone on, the bigger the ship, the more people are required, type of thing. And a ship like that is really going to want a fairly big escort to protect that cargo.
Yeah. So this is one of the things that comes up often in Fix My Fleet, and anybody that's considering like a Hull D or E, I would very highly recommend that they fly a Hull C now, and then realize that the Hull E is like, what is it, like 32 Hull Cs?
Yeah.
And like, do you really want to deal with that hassle? Like,
yeah,
it's a lot of cargo.
There's one of the things I've learned in doing this is, and Ag would probably agree with me, is there's some people that we've run into, they just don't have, like, everyone has different skills, right? But there's some people that just don't have foresight. Unless it's directly right in front of them, they can't comprehend. And it's not as, because I have that skill, Algared has that skill, but I've run into people, like, everyone's got different strengths and weaknesses. And while they look at the whole E and they just think that's amazing, like, they can't compartmentalize things like scanning and escorting and stuff like that. So everyone knows their limitations. I do think there is a need for a whole E and whole D, and I think it'll definitely, like, I can totally see a whole E rocking up with an org to help build a space station as an example, because it's just, you're going to need so much to feed the building of that. But by the same token, there'll be other orgs trying to stop that. You know, like, it's an org level event. So if you, I don't think it'll be something you'll be driving around on your own, you know. And I think scanning, once that comes in, it's really going to show people what the game is more likely going to be like. Because up until this point, like, you see people cargo running with no cover at all. You know, you see people mining with no covering at all. I think once the bad guys can actively find you, it's going to change the entire game.
Yeah. And people may still do that. But, and they may be able to do that successfully at times, but there will also be times where you get got. The thing I was thinking about for the hull E, and it picks up what Lemming said, in terms of fly around in this whole C to start with, see how much you like it, because even if you've got a full hull E and you take it to a station, just the unloading of it, even if you're automatic unloading, it's going to take ages.
Yeah,
because it just carries so much cargo. So,
yeah. So somebody in chat said, "Did he say 32 hull Cs?" And I went and did the math, and no, I'm sorry, it's only 22 hull Cs.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Such a large difference. But yeah,
that was a hyperbole and exaggeration, not meant to fool. Yeah.
Robert JT does say the whole B going into production as well. That is fairly exciting. Aaron and I did talk about that. For us, it's always the mystery. I don't know if I'll put that to you guys as well, like SA and Lemming. It's the mystery of, like, how they're going to do that without the bottom strut. And we did talk about it in a couple episodes, but that's the mystery I want.
Yeah.
Is it the same for you guys, or are you just like, ooh, another pretty ship?
The whole B gives me hope for the Railen.
Oh, okay. What about USA?
You know, I'm of the opinion that the B and the D weren't needed. I feel like there's enough around those sizes where they're a little bit redundant. You know, the hull E is going to just make the hull D, other than jump points and the ability to move cargo. So for those out there that don't know, one of the things I do is logistics. And, you know, any size ship has a place to move something. The real question is the mechanics that support that. And at where we sit right now, you know, the B doesn't excite me necessarily. The missing strut to me would change the center of gravity and what the ship would be used for, and the other ships around that could support it around that size, or movement of cargo around that size. So yeah, I mean, I'm not looking forward to it, but any ship that gets added to the verse usually improves the design of the manufacturer, the aesthetics, the design language. So I'm looking forward to that, like it just improving and getting better and better.
I think the whole series is really just a ship that they've kind of had scan across the entire plateau of essentially ideas where they want cargo to land. But I think time will tell whether they were relevant or not. So, yeah.
But as you know, as you said, but all the other Cs, all the other hull ships were not necessary. The artist was only contracted to do the whole C. That's all CIG wanted, just the whole C. But the artist went away and developed the whole line, and they went, crap, these are awesome, and started to go with all of them. So
the E makes sense to me. Even the D does. Like if you look at it as an older model where, you know, it's like 400 years old, and then they built the E to, you know, replace it and one up it. But like when you look at like those larger vessels, you guys nailed it. I mean, you know, especially Lemming with you know, it's an org ship. It's never going to be anything but that. It's if you have one and you plan on only playing with 1 or 2 people, it's, you know, go to the sea, take your credit, put it somewhere else. It just isn't a well-positioned ship. And the other weird thing about this, and we haven't even gotten into logistics yet, we did this in an episode a very long time ago, but it just isn't going to be, it's probably going to move through, you know, back and forth through to main systems. Yep. It's going to have a very limited pathway through jump points. So you're not going to see you know, if you want to be in the middle of nowhere, owning a hull E, even a hull D probably makes no sense. Go to a hull C and go from there.
You know, and trying to get a large mass to a place that doesn't have a dedicated place to unload it. Like, can you imagine rocking up with a hull E to a Kraken and trying to unload, like, it's only 1,800 cargo. Like, you're only going to take, like, what I have to go back and look at the SEO amount, but it's a fraction of what that can hold.
So I did there's something that we do in the US in the military and other agencies called a white paper. And I did one on logistics capabilities in Africa and talked about the ability for cargo ships to pick up cargo at certain locations and then to drop them on the continent and how they load and unload. And the thing that I think people don't get about cargo yet, and we kind of had the peak of it, even when you're building your own org space station, loading and unloading is far more complicated, and a ship never unloads all of its cargo. It unloads portions of its cargo at a port, and loading and the ability to do load planning for a cargo ship is its art of its own, because you don't want something that you need to unload in the center of the ship at the next port. So, you know, this is going to be far more of a game of Tetris than I think people realize.
100% agree with that.
Yeah.
And the other thing that ties in with that is, I imagine, is just the port facilities themselves, like deep water ports and even just the cranes and other facilities they've got to load and offload cargo. And that will also influence the Star Citizen equivalent as well.
So just to give you an example here real quick, you've got 98,000 cargo for a Kraken's just under 4,000. So like, it's completely overkill for even the biggest org ships in the game. So you like, and again, if we go a step down, let's go down to the D. It's still 20,000, right? And now we go down to a C. It's still 4,600. So it's still bigger than a Kraken. So realistically, like what SA is saying, those D's and E's just go into this area of like pure cargo. It's just, you're bringing just pure tonnage, and but you're also bringing all these other things, like think about all the people that are going to want to try and take you out for the money. So you're going to have to match them with escorts. Sometimes the trouble's not going to be worth the effort, is what I'm saying.
And Al brings up a really good point. You know, beyond that point, which is absolutely true. Like, you don't take really expensive ships through lanes that are unsecure. You just, other than, you know, what happens off the coast of Somalia, because you can't really help that by location and convenience.
Who's the captain now?
Exactly. What Al brought up about deep water ports is incredibly true. And I don't even think we've seen the equivalent of a deep water port in Star Citizen yet. I think we're going to get a much larger, almost shipyard size station that is purely designed as a logistical hub in Stanton or, you know, in Terra, like in a system.
I would say that Crusader is the closest to a station that I could see being used as a huge cargo hub.
I
mean,
meant to be ArcCorp though, isn't it, Algared, from Law?
Covelic Station is where I thought the deep water cargo transit was, but in Stanton it's offline. But that big Covelic Station is where all the cargo would go, and then you'd kind of
and disperse it from there. Yeah, and I think one of the things to think about is, you know, my area of expertise is the continent of Africa. And they're technically on paper 3 deep water ports for the entire continent, and really in reality there's 1. And when you look at the United States, I think the total for deep water ports, it's been a while, so I could be off on this, is 22, but only 3 of them act as the main deep water ports for the entire USA. And what we mean by deep water ports is the ability to take the berth, to take the ship. But remember, they have support crew to do that. There's like dredgers. There's, the ability to be able to unload it. You may be able to get a ship in a port. Can you unload it?
Real quick question.
Is the equipment there?
Just for a layperson, can you build your own deep water ports, or is it really just geography based?
It's both. It's you need the geographical location. One of the funniest stories on the continent of Africa is Djibouti, which is a little country right next to Somalia.
What did you say about Djibouti?
Exactly. My kids loved that I had been there. You've been to Djibouti?
You've been to Djibouti?
So the story of Djibouti is that there are a lot of interesting logistic stories if you're an absolute dork like me. But the Chinese came in and built a, quote unquote, like I'm using air quotes here, a deep water port. And there was another port already there that could actually take a deeper or a draft lower hull. I'm trying to not use technical terms here so that we can all understand what I'm trying to say. And what did the Chinese do? They actually used their sand dredgers to pull all the sand over to the other port. So when they dredged it out, they actually dredged the sand over to the older port. And the only rail line that goes into Ethiopia, real rail line, goes to Djibouti. And the idea is that their logistics are just screwed because of that. So, what I would imagine, and I hope they do this right, is logistics and trade and transportation could be a really fun gameplay loop where people could find little niches to make a little extra money, go through a certain, not by doing crazy things, but hitting a jump point that is a little risky for 20 minutes. Do I bring an escort or not? No, I'm going to save 20,000 UEC and hit that. So they could do a great job with it. I think they probably will do a decent job. But one thing that, as far as us, people that want to play the game, if you're not familiar, you want to do logistics and you own a Hull E or a Hull D, understand you're not running exciting gameplay. Well, you are the large thing that goes from point A to point B.
And again,
very slowly.
If you think about those transient jump points, just on a logic point of view, there may be really large ones that open, but they're going to be the rarity, not the norm. So if the smallest ship you have, you're going to be able to go through every single size of jump point. So it's the opposite for the Holy, where you're going to be less likely to go through the jump points.
And I imagine you're going to have those main jump points, but a bit like the Suez Canal, Straits of that area where everyone uses it as a convenient thing, but it's dangerous because
known quantity, and they know where you're going.
And so
it's more secure.
There'll be those jump points.
Hang on. So you reckon they'll be more secure, but won't the pirates kind of know which way you're going to go though, so they can kind of prep and they're not going to cut you off at a jump point, but if they know. Say they know you're coming in at Pyro and you're going to be going to ArcCorp, they can set up a QED or whatever snare between to pull you out.
Go ahead, Al. It looks like you had something you want to say.
Oh well, I was going to say it's a bit like the straits that pass Somalia and those key transit lines, because those choke points. Like you look at the strait between, I can't even remember what it's called, but the strait between Singapore and Indonesia. That area, I think it's 70 or 80 or 90 something. Massive
it's a huge percentage
of all ocean transport goes through that strait. You block that strait off.
And which is why the Chinese are so big on controlling that area. Yeah. The interesting thing, all right, so to speak to that point out, what I would say is what I predict will happen is that in secure systems, you're going to see an overwhelming military force protecting those locations.
A bit like we see out at Somalia, where the nations all send frigates and help do the anti-piracy patrols and stuff like that. So
it'll be corporations, I would guess. So we'll see the ArcCorp patrol, and because they want to protect the cargo, right? The cargo moving. Even if it costs you money as a corporation, is far more valuable to your bottom line than the money you spend to keep it safe. Because it may not be your cargo, but just the movement of cargo is important. I think the second part of it will be when you see systems like Pyro, you're going to see corporations send mercenary groups and hire potentially citizens and organizations to go out there and protect those lanes, which creates gameplay. So, I think, we've all thought of these things. I think that the weird end of it, though, as a player that is doing the transporting, if you want an adventurous transporting career where there's a slight bit of danger, a little bit of risk, and high reward, even a Hull C is pushing it. You're really looking at more of your internal storage cargo ships, maybe a Railen. If you want adventure, your Hull series is probably not your ship.
Can you see my screen, SA?
I'm watching.
See what Drazen said? I'll let you read that one out if you can read it, or do you want me to read it for you?
Yeah, if you don't mind reading it for me, I can't
find
it.
So Jason says, think of the Strait of Hormuz. Yes,
that's the one I was thinking of.
Yes, it's traveled often, but ships still get attacked. That's like a Nix to Castor run. And Drazen,
yeah, he's not wrong because it's so wide. Yeah, the strait is so wide. There's Aden and a couple of islands in there that like make it a little more complicated. But no, he's right. And when you look at I think what we're talking about is Stanton is like going to the Suez Canal or to the Panama Canal. It is a controlled space where only certain ships can get through if they've been vetted and they paid their money and they can do certain things. And that's what secure system jump points will be. Your uncharted jump points or your, jump points that move are the next stage down. And then when you look at your riskier jump points like Hormuz, that'll be it. And then you'll have your completely unregulated ones, which is like load up your freelancer and, hit your afterburners.
Jason says, Algared, you better be staying healthy. No, he's not. He's been drinking. He's on the hard liquor all the time.
But dihydrogen oxide.
Yeah.
FK sec.
All right. Next question. Question, is the CitizenCon pack giftable? Yes, it is. I've already. So I actually brought a bunch for the mods to say thank you for things they do around. So, yep.
So I want to just. I have one more thing to say about the whole series.
Yeah, go for it.
I know we're kind of beating a dead horse, but assuming that the whole B grows to, let's just use a round number of like 512. You really don't think that that's the sweet spot?
He went AFK, remember? He literally said, okay. I'm going AFK back in a minute.
I'm sorry.
But I agree with you. It is around the sweet spot. So like that around the 300 and SCU mark, there are, especially from a planet to space station type of level, I think it is better than the whole A. And again, I think what I was trying to learn, it's probably not exactly required, like he said, but you need a variety. And I think they've kind of just gone, the whole series is they're the cargo guys, so they've just got every base covered. But everyone else is going to hang off them. Like the Railen is just the only kind of cargo ship that they have in the game at the moment, and the Banner Merchman is, you get what I'm trying to say, right? So they've dominated.
Yeah, they're outliers.
Yeah, exactly. They're outliers, and it's dominated by the whole series. Yeah.
And you look at the law, the way CIG developed the law with the whole sea being licensed to be able to fly in Geon space.
Yeah.
Part of that was to reduce the number of ships they had to build. Because hey, it's a whole sea. It's just that one with Geon markings. I wouldn't be surprised to find whole seas with, if they're that good, if the Geon are using them because they're that good, I wouldn't be surprised to find Banu using the whole sea for a similar reason, because
so basically
you're saying is the best. So sorry.
So basically, you're saying it's a whole sea with like a turtle pond in it or something.
Yeah.
I think it's really going to come down to how they load. Now they've kind of said that it's going to take square boxes and stuff like that. Is as long as it's not too inconvenient to load. If it's even quicker to load, then that gives it another advantage. It just really comes down to how that whole mechanism is going to work. My biggest concern with the Railen is just how much fluff is on that ship, like with the back scratching posts and stuff like that. Because like I'm not a fan of put it this way, you got the Guardian and it's got the room and that on it, and sometimes you go, it's convenient to have the bedrooms and that on it, but then again it makes the ships physically larger, so it's easy to shoot. it's a necessity. Like, would I rather have a smaller ship so I'm not shot as often? Now, in a fighter, it's really obvious, right? But in something like the Railen, it probably doesn't make too much of a difference. You get what I'm trying to say, right? Like, it's you know, it's kind of like a lot of the problems I have with the Origin ships. Like, that a lot of them are role play based at the moment. And that's why I'm waiting to see the other ships that Origin come out with that are a lot more functional. I don't want them just to be there because they look cool. You know, another ship that would be an example like this is like the Idris, how it's got all those extra rooms that are there for squadron. But how often am I really going to use the shooting range? How often am I going to really use the training pods? You get what I mean? Like, so
yeah, during Squadron 42.
Yeah, like the whole hammerhead front thing that takes up all this space. How often am I going to use that in the actual SC? So there is some dead weight in some ships, and I'm just worried the Railen has a little bit of that. But again, how about you ask SA your question? Now he's back. Lemmy?
Assuming that the whole B goes to, let's say, 512 SCO, do you really not think that that's by far the best cargo ship in that area?
I don't think you can really compare the use of cargo ships. I mean, like each cargo ship, very similar to
drop ships. I think the same thing.
Yeah. Like they're each going to have a niche, and the niche is going to be kind of sorted out by actual gameplay. Like there might be design intent, but I don't feel like, you know, we know gamers, and gamers are going to game, and they're going to figure out what each ship is the best at. When I look at the whole B, when we're talking about just making money out of cargo that size, Lemming, I think you're right. I think that's just that's the money maker.
Real quick, the raft at the last event is a really good example of what you're talking about.
I view it as like a bigger raft.
Well, what I mean though is like the raft wasn't used a lot. That event dropped, and it showed that the raft was perfect for that event. Right.
Yeah,
so what SA is saying is and it was the same thing when we looked at dropships. They all have this perfect little fucking niche placement, and then there's a lot of crossover. Like you can take one, but this ship over here will be perfect for it. You can still do the event in the Hercules, but it's just way easier to do it in a raft. That type of thing is what he's talking about. Sorry, SA.
No, I was going to say, this is a thing I do want to rant on very briefly with the Railen. Is I really like the Cartual. You know that. I love the alien aesthetics of the ships. I own them. Those are the only ships that I really own, although I did pick up a Gladiator for the skin. And probably will keep it because I have the original concept Gladiator, and I do love that ship. But when I look at the Railen and they went to that triangular cargo thing, and that the SU boxes are still square, I was just like, you know, what are you doing, CIG?
That's actually been... They've actually announced that that's changed.
So what does it change to? Because I didn't see that.
It's going to be using standard cargo containers, and probably going to fit.
I showed
32 SCU boxes.
Yeah, so you know how it's essentially got hexagonal boxes, and there's 3 of them, and it turns into a triangle. They basically said they're going to change those to be just regular 32 SCU cargo containers.
Yeah, and
so
what I worry is that they're going to make them
probably have 3 of them in a triangle or something like that.
Which I would like. What I'm worried about is they're going to make that shape like a triangle container to put them in. So you have square boxes going into a triangle shape. So as long as they don't do that, I think they're making the right choices.
They'll do what they want, and they'll do it to balance the game. And
they will
at the end of the day. But I think the variety that they do will be what they've always aimed for. I think that's why they went the full hull series originally. When I think it was Ryan Church did the whole C. I think it was Ryan Church as a concept artist.
I'd have to go look at it.
And the brief was, you know, for the whole C to do the ship ubiquitous in the UEE, and he looked at it and went, this ship made by this company is the be-all and end-all of freight. And he went, they've created a whole line. And he basically did, as part of his design process, he went through, okay, what would be. And when he presented it, CIG went, yeah, we're taking a lot. we'll put all of them in.
Yeah. You did too good of a job. Wolfpence03 says, question, most games have a natural lifetime. WoW has been going for decades. How long do you think SC's life is going to be before it dies out? I love games, and I want to get your thoughts on this.
That's
20 years. 50 years.
My answer is what normally happens, right? And there's a repetitive pattern you can see is what happens is people leave companies. That's when they die. So let's look at Blizzard as a really good example. The people that worked there back in 2000 don't work there now. The CEOs have moved on. They've brought new people in. And unfortunately, when you have a company that gets brought over, they put in management and they try to do it via money, not via passion. And so those people that are veterans that want all the little extra perks, like they used to have a free cafeteria at Blizzard, and that's all been taken out. You know, they had all these little comfort perks. Google had it as well, where, you know, originally they pay people less, but they'd give them all these free perks so they'd stay around. And over time, the bean counter people, because on paper it looks really good, but it's not how real life works. So all those perks get whittled away, and then you lose the veterans. And then you get these new people coming in that just don't have the talent because they don't have the experience. Anyone that's older in life will tell you this. The more experience you have, you just learn things that you just can't learn in school. And so basically it's the same thing in game development, that talent just drops off. And you can look at WoW right now, it's just not at the same level it was 10, 15 years ago, because those people have moved on, and they've gone back and tried to bring some of those people back. But I don't know how to say this, the politics at Blizzard has changed. And so even the people they're bringing back having to move around the new people, and it's just not working. And I think it'll be the same things. Things have a natural lifetime. That said, for CIG, as long as they remain independent and they can retain some talent, it probably will go better than most games. I think the thing that Star Citizen really has going for it, both a blessing and a curse, is there is no publisher. It's been a really long road to get here, but now they're kind of getting there. If they can get there and the publisher part stays out and all that passion stays there, you can see what I'm saying, Aaron, right? Like it doesn't have that same detriment that all the other big publishers have. So we could be here a lot longer. That's kind of been my hope from the beginning.
Just speaking of Evercrack, AAK EverQuest.
Hang on, real quick.
EverQuest was launched.
Hang on, real quick. Thank you for the subscription, Arcane Danger, and Ash Katano. Thank you for the tier 1 as well. We've got a hype train thing on there. Sorry. Yep.
Awesome. No, but going back to that comment about how long will Star Citizen last? Evercrack, aka EverQuest, which is where the mythical Star Citizen produced drug Evercrack comes from, was launched March 16, 1999. It's 25 years old. They launched a new patch. So a new patch was launched this year.
Someone's saying your Ultima Online. That's one I remember people playing back like in like early 2000s. I don't know if people still playing that now.
And that's like the 90s.
Wasn't that like a 2D isometric? Yeah, but people are still playing it today though. Like it's lasted for ages.
People are still playing EverQuest.
I think of RuneScape too. RuneScape's been around for ages now too.
Well, I'm pretty sure that EverQuest came out with an expansion last year.
They did.
A paid expansion.
The Outer Brood.
I mean,
released this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that brings up the key point of it, right? Which is, and this is my opinion, Star Citizen will be around as long as they can monetize it. Like it has to make money to continue to live. It's too much of a complicated game with too many mechanics. As long as it can make money. And I think everybody needs to be prepared for that. There's going to be monetization of the game. It won't just be ships. It'll be, well, I believe this. I can't prove any of this, but I do believe there'll be, and we know there are going to be expansions. We know there are going to be new races. There are going to be new locations. And look, if you're going to get mad that they may paywall those things, then, blame yourself because they have to develop them. It costs money to do that. You have to be able to invest those things.
I think even on a ground basis level, they've kind of said like most of the money is going back into the game. They're not like a normal publisher wouldn't make this game because they would want to make money off it. They're just taking the money, like once they've paid themselves, they're not trying to build this huge nest egg. They're just trying to, other than the people that they've got to return their investment to, what was it, 56 million or whatever, they're going to want to return on the investment. They'll pay them off. And then basically it'll just be, but as long as the game has got, paid for. Yeah.
But Execute.
Yeah.
What about all the people on Reddit that say that Chris's 5th yacht and everything like that, right?
The 5 yachts are just virtual ones
Yeah.
in the game, so it's all good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Again,
Yeah,
if anyone still thinks it's a scam at this point, I just let them think it's a scam. Like if I go to this board gaming club, I haven't been there in 6 months. I went the other week, right? Because for reasons, but I used to go there all the time. And when I went in there, they would always, like, anytime someone brought Star Citizen up, they would like point at me and laugh or what, because new people would come in and stuff like that. And they know I do the YouTube and stuff, and they still to this day think the whole thing's a scam. And it's like, well, how many scams do you know that go for like 15 years?
That you can actually play.
That you can actually play. Like at what point are you going to realize that this isn't a scam? They're just like, yeah, but they just keep getting more money, and it's like, by its definition, how can it be a scam?
That's like a business, yeah.
Because it's like like it would have collapsed by now if it was a scam. Like, how many scams do you know that last that long? Like, even the best pyramid schemes I've ever seen only last like 5 or 6 years at best, and most of them collapse instantly. You know, look at all the what do you call it? The cryptocurrency ones. They just come out and they're dead in a day. You know, like it's just weird to me.
Oh, I look at things like Chris's work ethic, and it's a bit like, I think the work ethic you saw from the guys at Hello Games who did No Man's Sky. You know, they said a lot of stuff. Things didn't work because of engineering or game development. They just got down and do it. But you look at what Chris's work ethic is, and you know, and from talking to Sandy and others, you know that he'll come home and he'll do coding.
Yep.
He'll code for his game until
2 o'clock in the morning. Regularly, that was something we heard from the devs. Like they'd regularly get one of them get a call from Chris, and it'll be like 2 o'clock in the morning in LA or something like that, and they're just like, "What the heck, dude? Go to bed." You know, and he was saying that he comes in about 10 a.m. and then so he comes in late, but he leaves late as well. So yeah,
you know, but he works, you know, and you know, we got that same type of information from Sandy and others. It's
very passion driven, which I like.
Yeah, and I think
it's definitely somewhere that I would love to work back in the day when I did development.
Exactly. Like to me, that's the point too. Like I don't have the skill set to work there. Like I'm just a military dude, and I do logistics and a couple other things. But like I would work for them in a second, just because I come from a background where you work hard, you work long hours, but there's passion there, and to me, that's what's rewarding about the work that I do. I have you know, it's not easy. It's taken me away from my family for years of my life and years of their lives, but that passion that you have to get the mission done and getting that one piece accomplished, you know, to succeed in your mission. And I feel like, although I don't agree with a lot of decisions Chris has made, if he can foster an environment that has like-minded people that want to put in, you know, like me, I just don't have the technical experience, put in their energy and their work into into Star Citizen, it'll be here for, you know, literally more years than we all realize. There'll be people running emulators to play it in the future.
Yeah.
Well,
paying money to do it.
I've seen emulators for, you know, Freelancer, and I've seen emulators for Star Wars Galaxies, you know.
Yeah, Star Wars Galaxies. I love that game. That is my first MMO, and if you look at the community for it, even currently, they're so dedicated. They actually recoded the entire freaking game.
Yep.
And if you look at a lot of the stuff that came out last year at CitizenCon, oh my gosh, that was Star Wars Galaxies. Like talking about the upgrade system and the components and the housing.
Base building.
It was so much Star Wars Galaxies, and so many people were negative on it. I was like, well, did you ever play Galaxies? And they're no, what's that? I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I remember both of you saying that last year. Both you boys, SA and Lemming, telling me that. Yeah.
It's like people who don't know EverQuest, you know, like, what's EverQuest? It's a game that when it first came out broke the internet. So many people logged on, and it's still going.
Yep, sure did.
Real quickly, that's kind of what I'm expecting at CitizenCon. is kind of like what's on the roadmap, and essentially what we like almost like updates to last year, because if you look at the roadmap cycles, they've almost been 2 years of development for all that stuff. So I think it's essentially going to be a preview of that. I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see updated base building, crafting, and the few other things that are on the roadmap.
Yeah. So the only thing that I would say execute is take your expectations for CitizenCon. I would say cut them at a quarter.
I saw you in chat.
Set that right now.
I saw you in chat yesterday. Don't worry, I saw you. It was on the video. You were in the video. I saw you in the chat scrolling up. Look, long story short, yeah, my expectations aren't that high because again, it's only 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
But like, I look at it and go, well, what would I put in the 2 hours? And traditionally, what is a CitizenCon? Well, a CitizenCon is like their plans for the next year. And essentially, I think if you've got 2 hours, what do you got to show off? Well, you've got to show some ships. You've got to show some progress. And you got to show
system.
And you got to show some of the stuff you've been working on. And again, yeah, that'll imply Nix and stuff as well. So you'll probably see an update to Nix, base building, crafting, and some ships. So my expectations are pretty level, I think.
And I think if I don't show Nix, it'll be Castra or one of those other systems that they're bringing out. So
yeah,
but we'll see something along those lines.
There is an unspoken danger, I think, that we don't address as a community with Star Citizen. And when you look at every other MMO we've been talking about, I think this becomes more and more apparent when you compare them, which is there's not really rails to Star Citizen. And that's very intentional because Chris wanted a university you could drop into, but they're not career paths. They're not very clear. Here's where I put my skill points. Here's where I put this. Here's how I do this.
It's skill based.
I think that's
he always wanted it. So like, because one of the fundamental problems with every MMO, say Algared's playing WoW, and I've decided I want to play with him, I've got to then level all the way to 60. That takes 2 weeks just to be able to play with him. They want it so you can just jump in and play with people straight away.
And levels is one part of that. But what I mean is that if you look at the original Galaxies, it did a really good job of developing certain skills through you select them, you have to grind them, which isn't the greatest thing, experience grinding, but reputation grinding is the same thing in Star Citizen.
Well, you can see they're leaning to a more automatic approach. So they've said things like if you move a lot of boxes around, you'll automatically become quicker and have more stamina at moving boxes. So they're moving to, again, everything from like the way it leans, like when you come up to a wall, like your character can automatically lean and all that type of stuff. They're trying to automate everything and make it just feel more agentic and automatic. And I think that's kind of a more natural approach. I kind of like it, to be honest. But
yeah.
No, I like it too, but we're experienced MMO gamers. We want that experience. We want to be organically there. And what I'm talking about is your Battlefield players, your baseline players, the pipeline into the game. What are we used to? What are the younger gamers that are brand new to gaming?
I get your point.
A clear pipeline.
And I'll give you a counterpoint though. You then take that Call of Duty player that's always been about combat and you drop them into medical gameplay or you drop them into science. They're naturally going to learn heaps quicker because it's more automatic. You get where I'm going?
So I don't disagree with that. Yeah. My point is it's how CIG can explain how this functions, like where their development is coming from. Like they can't just go into a login screen and pick their weapons, pick their loadout and jump in.
Yeah.
CIG has to do a very good job at communicating like this. These are the skills you're gaining. You are now at this percentage of efficiency with loading boxes. Yeah. You are at 90% efficiency loading boxes. You are at 22% efficiency using handguns. And, I'm not saying that's the way they should do it, but what I'm saying is if this game wants to have legs, the original question of like, where's this game going to be in how many years? Like, will it last? It has to be able to communicate to a new player base constantly. It has to evolve a player base to appreciate the things that it's intending to do, which are the things we want it to do, which is complicated, robust gameplay that takes time and skill to develop.
Yeah. I'm just going to expand on what SA said and make it a little bit more simple. People need to see bar go up. That's it.
They want to see
in a way, yeah.
I think that's going to be the grinding and rep. But I also think there's like a skill based progression because they've always talked about like they always wanted it to be like almost a bit like chess, where it's easy to learn, but it takes a long time to master. And I think that's we're already seeing that in things like mining. To be honest, like I've seen like I've seen PvP players describe like, oh, anyone can mine, but then I actually get them and put them next to like a really, really good like I put them with John. I actually took who was it? Oidy Vids and his guys were like hardcore PvPers and went and did the Hathor event with John Citizen. And it was just like they, I think they realized that there is a skill to it, and they, I believe they both. I don't know if they'd admit to it, but I believe they both worked away having an appreciation for the other side. You know, that there is a skill to PvP, there is a skill to mining, and they both had their place. And it was just really interesting to see this cross pollination. I hadn't seen that yet, right? Like mining and combat's not something you really put together. But like it was the first time I'd seen it, and the fact that they were appreciating each other, they were communicating and working, and like I just went, this is the game I want. I want that communication, cool. and yeah, it was so maybe one day we'll get you in SA with that and see if I can get you to do Hathor with John, and you can join us too, Lemming. It's just really interesting to see that dynamic at play.
I've done mining with John, and the funny thing to me is like you would think I'm a PvP player because that's what I do in real world, I guess.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
But and I do like games like Hunt. I like very difficult PvP games. But when it comes down to Star Citizen, I've never gravitated. I do like bounty hunting. I do want to be a bounty hunter. But to me, the nuances of mining, and that comes from, and I think Algared, you and I have talked about this previously. It's the SWG days of like putting down the perfect mine and developing the highest percentage resource and going to harvest it and finding your way to it. Like that's the gameplay that I really, really want. And I feel like Star Citizen is already giving us the sneak peek that's what it's going to be. So I have no doubt that that's what it's going to be. The real question for me is how do you bring in those new players?
Everything you listed there shows skill. So like knowing exactly where to place a building, knowing like, and not only just placing the building, but where do you place a mining building? Where does it go perfectly on the node? What's going to be the best way to access the node? Like even the direction the building faces and stuff like that is all going to be skill based.
And that's going to be, some of that will be learned as you're learning the game. And I didn't really get the most out of that resource node. There's still chunks on, edges on the end that I've missed.
Learning from mistakes.
And I hope they don't lean away from that. Like, let people fail in little tiny ways.
I think they're doing that.
So they try to become perfectionists and go for it.
If you've been doing the latest event, half of it was running through over and over and over, failing until you figured out how it was done. This is in the
that's what I was going to say.
This is in the science. So you've they give you a mission that before it leads into the science facility where you got to go into engineering and research again. And I won't tell you exactly what you're going to do, but you've got to. It's almost like multiple puzzles you've got to work out, and it's going to be done in a very specific way. They don't tell you how to do any of it. You got to figure it all out. It's a pain in the ass, and it's not just like it's not just like 1, 2, 3. Sometimes it's 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. Like you can do the same thing repetitively, and then they never tell you how many times you're going to do it. You just got to figure it all out, and then once you figured it out, like it's move on to the next bit. And especially that last area in the engineering, it is a freaking nightmare. You're in combat, you're in radiation blasts, and you've got to get all the switches in the right order, and they don't like guide you where you got to go. You just got to naturally follow cables and shit on the wall and all this shit, and it's just like. There's no hand-holding. It is all learning through failure.
So I would also say the race for Stanton, I think it was race for Stanton, the cargo event that just happened. Yeah, the resource drive. Yep. So there was a huge skill curve with that. I mean, you could do it, and it would take you an hour to load and unload, and you could suffer through it. Or you could be really good at it and be able to load and unload an entire ship in 20 minutes.
We all got faster, is what you're saying. If that's what you're saying, I agree with you. Because I started out slow as shit, and then by the end of it, I could do them in like 25 minutes, like per load.
Well, and that's like any logistical hub. I mean, that's one of the funny things, you bringing that up. What people don't realize about logistics and ship crews and like different things that you do is you become efficient just purely by living the life.
That's the experience I was talking about. Remember I told you, like again, like it's compacted, but again, any new player coming in will never be as good as an older player. It's that skill-based gameplay. As you get better at it, you'll get faster.
So what I was saying that I'm worried that they don't have is a clear way to communicate to those new players that this is, you were on that path, like what Lemming said, like being able, to see the bar move.
But again,
like,
if it's
to
natural,
see the metrics, I'm getting better. I need to see a number or some representation that I am.
Don't you know? Don't you know within yourself that you're getting better?
Now gamers are like that.
I don't know.
Lifts all boats.
Yeah, but again, like exactly. if it took me an hour to do the first cargo load, and then 2 weeks later I'm down to half an hour, I already know that I'm better.
All right, so let me give you an example.
I know what you're saying.
Exactly where he's coming from.
I get exactly where you're coming from, right? But I it's almost like an old school approach versus this. I need new pretty colors and I need to see the bar go up. So it's like young versus old. So it is a really weird juxtaposition. Because if I go back to my granddad's time, there is no internet. There is none of that shit, and they just learn by doing, right? And now it's I Google everything and Google teaches me.
I don't disagree with that, but when so the core of what you're saying, I agree with, and I think we all do. Yeah. Like you feel that you're getting better. That you did a good job. Yeah. But what I'm concerned about is if we're talking about a life of this game, especially with the current gaming generation coming up, they need to be fed some type of progress where they understand they're getting better, and they're not used to it because every other game spoon feeds them like, hey, you're 2% better. You've killed 2 more people. Like you are this rank of whatever bullshit thing that exists.
I could see that being tied in with the rep system. Like, you're getting, they give you a report card. Yeah, your load was X% more of this, so you're doing great, that type of thing. But I get where you're coming from. I don't know how CIG will solve that problem because I think you're right. People do want to see that bar. They do want to see that progress bar.
Weren't they talking about skill trees at CitizenCon last year, and people were getting like pitchforks out?
I don't think it was skill trees.
Skill monitoring, I thought it was. It was more just like monitoring where you were with the skill, which I love. I love that concept. See your progress.
Yeah. So again, if it's in a menu and it's not constantly on your screen, but you can go look at it if you want to, then it gives both options. Again, I really think they got to cater as many people as possible. So I don't think it's like forcing people to use it or not use it. I just, again, like multiple control options to play the game. Same thing. The more people it appeals to, the more people will play it. So I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I'm just probably looking at it from a prioritization perspective. And I think it's probably further down for me than further up. But yeah, definitely think it needs to be there. I did want to ask real quickly, you know a lot about history, don't you, Algared? And languages and stuff?
History, yeah.
What do you know about
history?
What do you know about the Welsh?
Sod all.
There's one in chat. I just want to give him shit.
Basically.
So Tomo was trying to talk to AI yesterday. This just shows you how bad his English is, right? And he was trying to talk to the AI, and every time he talked to the AI would reply in Welsh.
Sorry, Tomo. I'm sorry, Tomo.
So it just he's always going on about how the AI does not understand me, but the AI replies to me in English, bro. The AI is replying to me in Welsh. That tells you that I can clearly speak better English than you. But anyway, I just thought it was hilarious.
I've worked with a bunch of rifles, Brits, and the joke that they have with the Welsh is, if you don't understand the Welsh, just drink more.
Yeah. But I can understand why the AI can't understand him because he's like, he sounds a bit like, what was that old joke? Jibbity potatoes, the Irish. He sounds a little bit like that sometimes, where he just like, especially when he says Lars and shit. I got no idea what Lars means. Like he just brings these weird words out of nowhere. Like it's almost like Australian colloquialisms. I think I understand how people feel now because
I was just gonna say, we
say certain words that people don't understand, but he says certain words that nobody understands. So it's like, it's really.
I worked with a Brit Cockney Intel dude who he would run in excited to tell me something, and I would literally just put my hand up in front of his face, be like, all right, let's back that up until I walked into the room. I understand nothing that you're saying.
Well, there's one of the key things that makes Cockney so weird is the Cockney rhyming slang. Now but
when they get excited, it gets worse because they actually like accelerate the slang.
Yeah, well, everyone does that. Like, you know,
Aussies are no different. You like an angry Aussie is really evident. I'll just say that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or an excited Aussie is really evident because they go.
The Kiwis, you guys, and the Canadians are my favorite to work with by far. I do have some really close Brits that I'm friends with, but you know, there's something about like the Canadians are just amazing guys. You know, generally, unless they're like, you know, the Quebecois or whatever it is, they're pretty easy to understand. But like they're just like hard workers with like they're not arrogant. They're just hard workers. And then you get to the Aussies, and the Aussies are just like, shit's going to get crazy. Don't know what to tell you. We're going to do it. Like, and then you look at the Kiwis, and the Kiwis are just like, you know, like they're just like, I don't need you. But, you know, if you want to hang out with me, that's fine.
Yeah, we don't need you, but if you want to come along, yeah, fine, you know.
Have you run into a... have you run into a Maori guy yet? They are the best, man. Oh, man, I love them. We got some of them here, right? And there's a couple of families of them here because we've had a lot of people immigrate in where I live. And they are, like, built like brick shit houses. They are, like, huge, like, you know, like NRL... what you call it, American football, like
Maori,
people, right?
yes, I have.
And they come up to you, dude, and they have got the most placid. You know how you get like a really big dog and it's really dopey, and you get a little small dog and they're really hyperactive. They're like, and my housemate's really big as well. He's from South Africa, and they just, oh hi bro, how you doing? And they got this almost like high pitched voice, and they are so calm, cool, and collected. And I saw there was one, like a guy tried to commit him into crime or whatever, and the Maori guy just steps in and goes, "No, bro, don't do that, bro." Like that was the coolest thing. It's just like so calm. No, but they just don't get cross. Like you'd imagine just to be in like a brick shit house and like there's like smack the shit out, but they're like, "Nah, bro, don't do that, bro." They're just like so cool, calm, and collected. Funniest thing.
I've seen cross Maori.
I would not. Well, again, you've seen the war chants and stuff they do. I would not want to be in a fight with any of those boys. No. They would defend their, you know, like again, like I've got ones that I call friends, and like I've seen people try to cross them, and no, you just don't.
Well, it's about respect. I mean, all right. So I don't mean to one up you on this, but I will. Like the ultimate out of every force that I've worked with, the Gurkhas. I just got done working with 2 Gurkhas, and those like, are you familiar with Gurkhas? Words?
Is he talking about Gurkhas?
I have no idea what that is.
In a kukari.
How do you spell it?
Exactly how it sounds. Gurkha with a K.
Ghurka.
Like that?
Yep. Yeah, that's it. The Gurkhas. I knew it was a H.
Legendary soldiers from Nepal was in the description right there.
Yep.
So I was like,
okay.
Yeah, Nepalese. We've got Nepalese people here. We've got Nepalese people here. They are very chill.
So these guys, they were the most polite guys I ever worked with in my life. To be like, yes, sir, no, sir. You know, and I'd be like, yeah, man, no, I just need an answer from you. And they would give you a great answer. And then, so their whole process of becoming a Gurkha is some of these guys, year after year, they'll apply to the program. They'll go through the selection. They'll get rejected. They come back. They do it again. And they only select, I think it's like 300 a year to become Gurkhas out of like thousands. Like it's a ridiculous selection process. And they work with the British military. But these guys, when I worked with them, the kindest, most thoughtful guys, you were just like, if anyone in this room needed to die, I have 100% like guarantee that you would be able to kill them. Like just incredible training. Like if you want to watch, there are probably a couple of videos in this whole thing about them. I would watch them. These guys are incredible soldiers.
Look,
I heard a story recently. I don't know if you told it or somewhere else.
Just real quick, Algared. I have a really massive respect. Like I didn't really know about military people before I started doing this, but I have like a whole different level of respect based off all the talks I've had with you and Badgers and Osiris Frost and all that. I just want to say, like, it's not something I'd ever be able to do. But yeah, that's probably why I have such respect for it. Sorry, go ahead, Algared.
Yeah, but I heard a story about the Gurkhas. When they were being trained for wanted to train them for parachuting, and they said, "We want you to jump out of an airplane." And 2 of them volunteered. Yep. And the commander went up and said, "What the hell's going on?" what you told me these guys were badasses, and only 2 of them want to do it. And it was worked out that they didn't realise they were jumping out of a plane with a parachute. 2 volunteered to be in this program, jumping out of a plane,
and they are
without a parachute. Like,
these are country boys that, like, the funny thing to me is, like, the guys that I knew, extremely professional, very kind. The kookaries, everything. Like, like when I traded patches with them, their patches meant more to me than most other militaries, because they were the, as we used to say in our field, the quiet professionals. Like, they just, they had already proven themselves by doing what they do. They were serving their country, their family, a sense of honor. And you're just like, yeah, you guys are the best. But the other thing is, if you ever want to, there's some interesting stories about Gurkhas in war, like one Gurkha killing 50 dudes with a kookaree in the middle of a jungle. Like, these guys are, they're a whole other breed. And so anyways, we were talking about, like, military forces. The nicest guys I've ever met and the people that I feared the most, those are the guys I've worked with, like the Gurkhas.
Yeah. And one of the stories I've heard as well is the Gurkhas, when they draw back kookaree, it has to draw blood. So if they don't,
and
they cut their thumb or something if they haven't done something like that type of.
The way it was explained to me, because I did see that, and because there was the Nepalese New Year, which meant they cut the cake from a French bakery in the middle of Africa, which is another weird story. But they cut the cake with the kookaree and then drew blood, and it's not a requirement; it is a tradition.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that thing, like, what do you do? So, like, these guys will have. Well, look, I can't speak for all of them. I've only worked with 2, but they did have marks on their arm from where they would draw blood on themselves. So, and I'm just glad they didn't draw my blood.
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right. Next
question.
Next question. Bowler says, what ship voice is your favorite for all the companies?
I want to answer this one.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it. What's your favorite? Let me.
I was in, because they gave everybody a wolf.
Yep.
Man, that wolf is refined. Man, that is a smooth voice. That is a smooth ship. That is a refined piece of art right there.
Well, let me ask you then, because I know you're a big fan of Origin. Are you kind of excited to see another more exotic luxury manufacturer that's not just Origin?
Before flying that thing, no, I wasn't really at all interested in it, because I had been in an Archimedes. It was a coffin. I often call it a coffin. It's just a ship that you just go into to have to respawn in a couple of minutes. But after giving that wolf a chance, man, I am so looking forward to a larger non-fighter version of something from that company.
All right. Do you want to add to that, Algared? I want to do that first time chatter when
Yep.
And
all right.
You've kind of
so we'll answer this question in the first time chat.
Yep.
So at the moment I really do like the wolf's voice. I don't mind the kind of electronic-y voice they use for the Vandal ships that Esperia have, where it's kind of translated and crackly. But the wolf one, yeah, I really like that. I like the safe landing achieved.
I like them all for different reasons though. Like Anvil and Aegis and Sinu and Drake. Like I just like even Origin. Like they've all like it just builds into their style. I don't think there's any that I particularly. I think what I'm trying to say is they're all kind of in the same ballpark to me. I don't think any really stands above the other for me.
Yeah.
I think Crusader is the worst because it's so wordy, and Anvil is up there.
They're probably going to rework a lot of them as time goes on. Like everything's going to get a pass. So I'd expect them all to get touches and stuff as they go along. So I have to wait and see. So,
I like Anvil, just the like kill. Yeah.
Because
it's short and move on to the next.
Yep.
So first time chatter, Lucas DSC says, question, now that the Apollo is almost out, what is the difference between the triage and the medivac? I can't see any besides the missiles. Algared, I'll let you answer that one because I know you.
Missiles, armor, and I think extra weapon hardpoint, and that's about it.
Yeah, so somebody
it's
in
just missiles
Discord
and
actually
and
somebody
speed.
on Discord actually sent me something. And right now, at least, the SEM on the medevac is 5 faster. The SEM boost is 5 lower. The SEM boost backwards is the same. The max speed is higher on the triage.
Should be. Yep, it should be.
Yeah, that all makes sense.
Yeah, that all makes sense. But again, if it's only 5, that's like what we suspected.
Yeah,
like I often said, like I can't see $25 in value between the two. I just can't. And I think from that, based on it being 5, it's not a lot of difference in speed. So it can't be a lot of armor on the medivac over the triage if the difference is only 5. Because again, if you look at things like the Gemini and the Starfarer, there's a bit more of a difference.
So the pitch and yaw is, I'm sorry, the pitch is greater on the medevac. The yaw is greater on the triage.
That makes...
Mind you.
So that means it's probably got better thrusters or slightly better thrusters or something. I'll have to wait and see. I'll have to do more thorough testing. But again, I'll put it to you this way. Just on feeling alone, on vibes, can you see $25 difference? I can't.
No, I can't at the present.
Yeah.
I'll be able to give a better advice. Decide once I've flown it. But just before you chime in, Lemming or X, I didn't see which one of you.
Say?
But in terms of those flight modes and the rest of it, if you look at the Aurora ES, its flight patterns and abilities actually are better than the MR, and yet it's the cheapest ship of the lot. So,
yeah, they actually had packs back in the day too, didn't they? Those holiday packs that were $25 for an ES. So you're talking an actual ship's worth of stuff in difference. Yep. So yeah, it's not a small amount of money. If it had been $10, I don't think we'd even be having this discussion. But 25, it starts to become questionable. Again, just take the better one. Take the medivac if money doesn't matter. If money matters, then get the triage. I think the other advantage is, like I said, with those skins that we looked at, the red one, the red one's the kind of the rarer one, to be honest. So yeah.
So that triage skin, yeah, that's the one to go for.
Yeah. My I have a pet peeve with this hull, and I think I probably brought it up to you guys before, but because of the term medevac implies a military vessel. And I think they should go back and reconcept it to be a triage that's been upgraded to be a military medical vehicle, which means slower, less maneuverable, more defensive capability, and probably a higher top speed with far greater fuel burning requirements. So the idea is that, it's a completely different flying experience for that pilot. Medical capabilities might be equal. I don't really care about that because I'm not a medical person. But a medevac implies a military transport. Like you don't, or I guess some search and rescue. But I feel like if they really want this, like we're talking about the difference between being a emergency vehicle for the wilderness versus a city.
What you're kind of describing, correct me if I'm wrong here, they've gamified it rather than real worldified it, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if they give it better armor, I don't mind. I want to see them make design choices that make sense. So the reason why I said the medevac should get a higher top speed, SCM, and you burn more fuel is because in the military, that's what we do. We just burn fuel and we go faster. In the civilian world, you don't need to go faster, right? Like, I mean, you're already going fast. You're going to make it to a hospital. Like there's different expectations for the vehicle. So I want to see them like look at the performance of the intended craft rather than like, you know what, we're going to just tweak these little tiny things that don't make any real tangible difference.
Yeah. And
I want to see a different flying experience.
And if you look at the way they used to design their ships, at least silver ships, like the luxury version was always or the luxury/military version was always the one that had better components, faster, better armor, better weapon. So you could see, at least originally, that type of thinking was where they were going. But I don't think we see it enough. It would probably be the biggest criticism of that variations of ships.
The military components of like 4 or 5 years ago, like everyone was like, well, this is the best. Well, because fuel is cheap and fuel is readily available because you're stuck in a system.
Yep.
Take that to Pyro, see how that works for you.
And you
know,
can
it's like,
look at the prices in game. The civilian A ones were actually the most expensive components to buy, implying that the plan would be that they are eventually the preferred.
I actually hated using the military jump drives or quantum engines on my ships because their range was suddenly reduced because I was chewing so much fuel.
Yeah.
So I'd actually go for the civilian because then I could do multiple trips without running out of fuel.
Well, and it makes sense for military craft because you're going to be by a fleet, right? We're talking about a Navy. You're not going, there'll be exceptions for that. Like you'll get, I wanted to see a military Razor, and not because it's a traditional military ship, but one of the things the military does is they buy.
Isn't that the black one?
Aircraft. No, it's a stealth one, but it isn't military. Okay. It is a stealth craft, but it's not like there's no like, hey, every Bengal carries 6 of these for, recon. And that's what I wanted to see with like certain hulls, because when you go to a light carrier, aircraft carrier in the real world, Air Force civilians, you'll have civilian hulls that are converted over for military purposes because the military can't afford to develop an entire new hull for every need.
Lemming, are you there? Lemming, can you set up a Discord giveaway for the digital goodies pack?
Sure.
Would you be able to do that real quick? And once that's done, we'll get a link and drop it in Twitch and drop it in YouTube, and I'll let that. I think we'll just let it sit for a couple of days, and then I'll give it away.
Let it populate. Yes.
And then
now,
do it that way. So otherwise, Algared's gonna have a hernia. Being attacked.
Just very quickly, when you changed screens there, and we saw the Starbase that popped up, it did remind me. Take us back to the discussion we're talking about those logistical hubs. And not that Starbase, but the Macross from Odin.
Yep.
That is an example of an old logistics hub.
Yep, agreed.
Which is now in game.
Which probably also implies why those ships are there too. The big cargo barges. Yeah, agreed.
But that's a ship that's the type of base that I could see in game being that logistics hub.
I don't have,
and that's the type of thing we'd see.
I have the thumbnail we made for the episode that we didn't end up doing. I can open that, but I don't actually have the other one off the top of my head. I have this one.
Yep.
Open with.
What's it called? The such and such cross.
Something cross. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, my only. So I think that's beautiful. I love the idea of it, especially with the coming eventual Crusader, cargo ship that will fit beautifully in there. And I would love to be able to see like all the hull series like have their ability to be unloaded in those channels. The one thing I would say though is when you look at a logistical hub of any port that's a deep water port, you have your main berthing, you have your main unloading locations for your larger ships, and then you organically will have like a fueling depot offshore. You'll have like certain things that accompany it by the nature of what the port will need, and that's my whole point about like having. So what I would say with this is if you have like a smaller space station above this to do smaller vessels, and you see ships moving cargo between the two, the larger and the smaller, like I want to see like a beehive of activity.
Yeah.
A ton of worker bees moving those cargo containers. Not just
A's and B's coming up from the planet, and C's there going in between the stations, and
exactly.
Yeah. Argos helping load them off and on, tractor beams, all that stuff.
Too many rafts, too many A's, too many B's. Like they're purely there.
I don't think you'll see it until we get the NPCs in.
Yep.
Personally.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. But that I think is a classic example of what at least CIG are looking at as a logistics hub, and I think in Odin that was a logistics hub back in its heyday. At least
it's pretty, and it has that command deck, which I love. The one thing I do give them credit for is they understand the value of the aesthetics of a command deck. like we saw in the player-owned base, space stations and like building it. The idea to have that one deck where you're like you see it there in the middle, just like you overlook everything else.
Mm-hmm.
It just that's what every player wants to do is stand on that deck.
Yeah.
So I was expecting for that to happen a little bit when we got server meshing, and
yeah, I think that'll be a part of it.
But they actually talked about that in this week's show, is that it's not ATC is a mess right now, and ATC isn't utilizing all of the hangars that it possibly could. It's using like a very small portion of them. So I think it would be awesome to be like landing like a larger ship and then have the hangar right next to you open also and have another ship come and land, because that just never happens.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, I was always hoping they'd have like interconnected hangars where you could see the ship next to you landing, like the old school hangars we had. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Because I am horrible at landing, and it would be great to see somebody who's a master just kind of zip in and. Yep.
X is a horrible pilot, but he actually, there's not one ship that he's ever landed that I've been in that he's blown up.
Oh, wow.
And I think I've blown him up I've blown him up at least twice.
I have seen X planet plow.
Yeah. There's video proof of that in the Wolf. That was pretty funny, that episode, actually. We saw that episode. It was just like, it's like clouds, on ground. It was like, well, it's fast. But
we're in the clouds.
Admittedly, I had my hands completely off the controls.
Oh, you can blame it on the Fed.
Yeah. No, it was just funny. Like, it was real quick. Like, if you watch it too, it's like there's something weird going on there. Like, real quick, it just went bang. Yeah. But yeah, it's generally when we're doing an episode like that I'll crash or whatever. But and I'm at a weird kangaroo or something like that. But yeah. Belucan asks, when can we expect the next tinfoil hat episode? I think that would be after CitizenCon, if they do the silhouettes or the curtain.
I would think so.
I have talked to Grim about joining us for that one. So probably see if I can get him in on that as well. Might even see if we do a bit of a roundtable. Might even see if I can pull in Paul as well and do a bit of get you and him doing a bit of law stuff too. Because that, and I might even see if we can pull in Trispone. If we can get five people is a lot, right? There's a lot of, even today, there's a lot of chatting on back and forth. But it might be worth it just for the information that kind of rattles out from that. And trying to get 5 people together is a nightmare, as you know, Algared. But
it is indeed.
Yeah, at the very least, it'll be me and Algared. But we'll see if we can get the others in there as well. Because Trispone.
Yeah, go for it. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, Trispone in Europe,
like,
and Paul and that in the US, and I here. So it's going to be it'll probably be me and Algared that get the shitty time, but we're used to that. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, we did talk about doing different tinfoil hats, though, didn't we, Algared? At one point,
we did talk about doing different tinfoil hats.
Also, Execute. The bot right now is on vacation.
Who's on vacation?
I'll have to make it. The bot is on vacation right now, so I'll need to work on this not during the stream. But if people are in Discord, then they'll be able to see.
So what happened? The bot's just not working, or
no, the bot isn't working.
Okay, so
if you restart the bot, we'll probably get
no. He's talking about a different bot. He's talking about he's talking about the giveaway bot. So what, by tomorrow, you reckon? Like, we're gonna give me a rough ballpark when we tell people.
Yeah, I would say tomorrow. Just check on the Discord.
What I'll do, Lemming, if you would be so kind, because you can get it set up in the description below this stream. I get you to put the link to the channel and the Discord, like just instructions for people. So on the YouTube, and if you're on Twitch, then you'll just have to come back. But yeah, what I'll do is we'll extend it to next week. We'll let it run all this week, but then I'll remind people on next week's stream, and we'll pull it out at the end of next week's stream. Then how about that? Rex, what are you doing? You're pulling all this fur out, bro. What the?
He's attacking you
as a car. Get down from here. No, he's plucking his own fur out and leaving it everywhere. Little shit.
It's a radiation Delica.
No, I thought it was fur that was just like he'd naturally left everywhere. It's all over the couch. It's all over the stairs. He's been plucking himself like Pluck a Duck. They're just leaving fur everywhere. Little
Pluck
shit.
it up, pluck it up.
Just shave them.
Yeah,
Not a
winter
scale,
shave.
yeah,
not
that's
a
what I'll
scale.
do. You do it again and we shave you. That's what we're going to do. I'll do that again.
I once gave my cat a mohawk when I was in high school. I deeply regret the emotional trauma.
That is evil.
I also painted it green with a marker.
I used to buy, so you buy these little jumpers for chihuahuas. When they were kittens, I used to put them on them and they'd walk around like in the little hoodies.
Oh,
and
God.
they hate it. I'll pull it out and put it on him. That'll teach him.
So,
I've still got him somewhere.
One of the Christmas cards my wife and I did, we had a cat. Unfortunately, she passed away. But Maker's Mark, the whiskey, had like a little sweater they put on the bottles of Maker's Mark that was like a little tiny sweater.
Yeah.
And I stuck that on the cat and took a Christmas picture because it was a Christmas sweater.
Yeah.
And I still regret it because I loved her. But I don't because it was hilarious. But yeah, well, I feel bad.
I had one for my other cat that was like a lion's mane because they're ginger cats. So you put the... She hated it so much.
Did I send you guys the digital copy of my Christmas card this last year?
No, I don't.
I meant to.
No.
All right, I will because
all right,
it is a classic.
All right, Monster Avery says, "What's your take on the Idris Baird going to tier 2 with no real benefit, kind of like the Idris Carrick, as if they have tier should at least?" I think they're kind of just like these are essential medical changes coming in. I think like every system is going to change. We've kind of said this before. It's a need and all that. And again, looking at the injuries I've been taking on the PTU, I have not had a single tier 1 injury. The highest I've got to, like, I've got to push myself pretty far just to get to tier 2. And then when I get a tier 2, I think the worst I got was 2 tier 2 injuries, which was head and the chest. And it was in that very last room of the engineering wing. And if anyone knows the room I'm talking about, it's a death trap. And it's like when I decided to fly straight through the center of the room, which means all 6 platforms are able to shoot at me. So I had to do a fair bit of stupid shit to get there. So yeah, I think getting to a tier 1 injury, I'm not a military guy, but you tell me this, essay. I word this without sounding callous. You don't really want to let shit get really to the shit hit the fan stage. You kind of like, if things start to go bad, I assume you'd be starting to pull out, yeah? You wouldn't just go, oh yeah, so 4 guys are dead, let's just keep going. Well,
it depends on the mission and it's the commander of the mission and like what the risk assessment would be. The reality is there's it's not a theory, it's what we do in practice. It's called care under fire, which is you suppress the enemy first. You need to have fire superiority. And once you have that, then you treat the wounded. So that means you do lose people, and when you lose somebody, what do you have? You have a unmobile thing that has to be moved around. So the general view of the military is you want 3-to-1 minimum fire superiority, 9-to-1 is desired. Just overwhelming superiority so that you can manage your casualties and manage your wounded. What I would say for like going in and assaulting anything, you will take, so we have something called checkpoints and secured points. And that's where you want to get to. So when you're doing your planning, you'll say, and this is what we talked about with planning on military operations.
Let me just stop you there. So what I'm saying is where is the break point? Where do you decide where, like, so John got shot in the leg and he might only have a tier 3 injury. Does John still keep going? If it how do you determine that?
So it's care under fire. So if your medic would say, I can manage this amount of wounded, there's going to come a point where your medic's going to look at you and say, and this is where those jobs in a team become fun.
His job. So that's his job.
He would say, so each individual checkpoint, your commander of the mission, or your non-commissioned officer, really it's probably going to be your non-commissioned officer, the person with the most experience. They're going to look at these individuals and say, give me a heads up. And they're going to say, we're good on this, we're bad on this, we're getting low on this. And then you go to the commander and he'll say, sir, I advise you to discontinue mission, pull out. I advise you to continue going. I think we can go, we're not at a critical point. And you'll do what's called a LACE report or a SITREP, a situation report. So liquid, ammo, et cetera. So you're basically what you're doing is you're saying, this is where we're at with all of our supplies, we're where we thought we would be, or we're too low, or we're more than good, we can go kick some ass. And that's the nuances of combat operations. The really cool thing about that, I think this will be a thing in Star Citizen, is it gives each individual member of a smaller team, a fire team or a tactical team, the ability to have value. Because your comms guy is going to be like, hey, I don't have comms. You know, your medic is going to be like, I'm running low on this. And like each individual person, that dynamic between the team matters. And we all know this from other MMOs. Not everybody wants to be in charge. There are a lot of people that do, that maybe they shouldn't be, but having a talented mission commander or mission, you know, fire team chief or, you know, leader, it's going to have a value, and your reputation in your org. Oh yeah. Like I want to work with SA because SA is really good at getting us in and out of places. Like we don't take a lot of casualties. He considers the needs of the team. That's where that nuance comes, where you're just not like, yeah, that guy's a jackass. He's going to get us killed.
So what I'm hearing is it's the medical kind of makes the shot in that regard. And then I'm also hearing it's a bit of the teamwork, like knowing the limits of the team. I think that's what I'm hearing, but if I've interpreted that wrong.
No, I think you're exactly right. And I think that there are other dynamics we're not even certain of now, because we have things like in this game, things that don't currently exist in the real world. We have the ability to have a team member that does nothing but monitor, like our comms person, maybe scanning the area. They may have a scanner device like Star Trek that can, you know, look at different factors that we're not considering on the battlefield. So I think for a team dynamic, at least a small team, you might have one guy doing nothing but looking at a screen, walking down the hallway of an Idris as you try to board it, because he's looking to see who's behind the next bulkhead. You know, he needs to necessarily, we have hacking. Like who's going to be doing that while everyone else covers for them? So I feel like, you know, the tactical side, and I hope, you know, CIG gets this, you can have a very dynamic, if you do it right, you can have a very dynamic team environment under an assault team that is not revolved around combat. And that's what I want. Like if it's just shooting people, man, how many games can I play where I can be in a spacesuit and shoot people? I don't care about that. I want to have a meaningful experience.
No, I agree.
Your team that goes in and either hacks or repairs or sabotages or does whatever they need to stealthily.
Or Algared. I mean, yeah, exactly. Like maybe you're not even in armor. You're in nothing but stealth suits and like, you know, and helmets, and you're armed, but like you have the low energy signature and you're trying to do things very stealthily and sneak onto a ship. You're going through the Jeffries tubes and like trying to, you know, slowly sneak up on the bridge. Like that's what I want to see from this game. I want to see, you know, a group of guys get together, or, you know, gals, whatever it's going to be, get together on you know, a weekend and practice and practice and practice, and then decide, hey, we're going to go assault this, you know, we're going to get a mission approved by our org and we're going to go assault this base. And there's an entire support structure. The Asgard owner or Valkyrie owner that's going to drop you near your thing where you got an EVA, like literally wasn't part of any of the planning. They're just like, hey man, we need a, you know, Valkyrie owner. Yeah, cool. I got you. I got 2 gunners too. We got you. We'll bring you into here. And those are the things that I think for an MMO like this, because it really is an MMO in a strange way, those are the things that give it legs when it comes down to gameplay. The things we all want. We want it to be hard, at least this group, you know, the 4 of us. We want the game to be hard, but we want it to have options. I don't want to have a Titan suit to kick down every door.
Yeah. But that's the gameplay options, isn't it? That's there'll be times where you do want that, and there are other times you don't want it, and it's that balance of styles.
But to that point, I think having somebody who's a specialized breacher with the skills and gear to be able to breach a door without a Titan suit, or having to have a Titan suit because nobody is skilled in it, I think that's really good gameplay.
Well, I think a part of it too is like not owning every ship in the game is making do with what you have too. I think that'll be a part of it eventually as well.
I feel like what I want in this game is the pirates that are flying around Drake ships, using like whatever they find off the verse can achieve the same goal as somebody who's flying, an Asgard and Anvil ships, just in different means. And to me, that's what diverse gameplay is about. It may not be as easy, but that's the rewarding part of gameplay. We've all done MMOs where we've achieved things where we feel rewarded, and I feel like that's where that gives you that reward.
Yeah, doing the 5-man mission or the 2-man, or being being able to solo something. And I was doing some of those going deeper missions in the ASD sites, and I was doing it with dang, I've forgotten who it was.
Ooey girls. It's fine.
No. One of the guys and his wife. One of the Aussie guys and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, man, she's absolute PvP FPS person guru.
Mm-hmm.
And she was. We're lagging behind. We're walking behind her. She basically cleared everything before we got there, just because she was just on fire.
And to me, Algared, I want to know your opinion on this, because like I have a semi-tactical background, right? And you're a school teacher, and I've taught at a schoolhouse in the military. I could never do your job, because in the military I can tell people to shut the fuck up and like start doing push-ups, right?
Yep.
So it's a different environment. And when you get into games, you and I think are probably closer to the same desired gaming experience and further apart. Like we want the highest purity of whatever we're mining. We want to craft the best things in the verse. We want to, be the most efficient traders. Like, what is it that drives? What do you think it is in us or any player that motivates them? Because you're talking about a player that was kinetic. Is it being the best? Is it like the experience? Is the environment? Is the friendship, camaraderie? Is it those moments where you're like, I can't believe I survived that? That's just the most amazing thing in the world. Like, what is it?
No, just while I remember, it was Santo Bell and his wife doing the ASD missions with, and Santo, we're going through, and that, they muddled through missions to find the stuff, but they were going through farming, and she was just an absolute demon in terms of the FPS. But I think there's an element where we do want to do the best of what we do. Some people just enjoy that repetitive nature of what they're doing. Other people want I can do it quicker. I can do it repetitive, but I can get better at it. So there's that element of we want that to see that we're getting better at it. As someone in chat says, I can't tell kids just to shut up.
That's why it brings me up. No.
But you want to, let's be honest.
But sometimes you do feel like that. But, generally...
one of my housemates was an army sergeant. He literally had the stick thing where they... I can't remember the size of the shell, but the shell was cut in half, and it had a pointy end on the bullet on one end and the solid on the other. And if people pissed him off, he'd walk up and poke him with the bullet.
Yeah.
End of the stick. And he'd often walk with it under his arm, and then have the shell part up here.
Actually, it was Hustle Bones who made the comment. He said, actually, I can say that. I can tell them to shut the F up. But when I won't have my job for much longer.
Your kids seem pretty pleasant, though, from what you've told me. They're...
Oh, yeah. That's why.
Well, you're engaging.
That's why I enjoy working at the school.
You teach at an age, like from what you've told me, that like, even if they're not curious or they just don't want to be there at the moment, like they at least have developed personalities and understand respect. So that seems better.
It's one of the things we've worked. It's one of the things that we've tried to develop quite well at our school, and I think we've succeeded. It had nature of respect and care and all that rest of it, so.
I've sent you all the holiday card and picture of my boys. Please don't share the holiday card because it has my last name and my family in it. I wish I could I should have blacked it out and sent it to you.
Saying too late. No.
But like, I also see a picture of the boys that went into the.
You want me to show any of these on stream, or what do you want?
Well, you can show the boys because then you can
boys.
like understand the nature of my household.
Oh, look at the cats! That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'll explain how this picture came about because it's hilarious.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife was trying to take a holiday card picture, and she was trying to get all the kids together in Christmas, in their Christmas pajamas. And my boy in the center there, he loves Christmas. Like he's like my wife, just wants to. Yes, I'm going to be involved.
Yep.
And
I'm in my Christmas PJs. Yep, I'm ready.
So they can't see the holiday card. So the first thing, like which you guys can see, but the first thing I did is I went to my two older girls who were teenagers, and they were adamantly against this. And I'm like, and my wife was like, "Put on your pajamas now." And I'm like, you know what? We're not going to win this fight. Just go put on whatever you want to. And both of them were already wearing these things. They were like, okay. And I'm like, stand like
Can I snip just the one of your two girls and pull that out and show that? Because the lack of smile is fucking priceless.
I told them, I'm like, do you like the show Wednesday? And they said yes. Yes. You're now Wednesday Morticia Addams.
Yeah, that is. Yep. So I'm just gonna cut that bit out because it's so good.
And Adam posed
very it was very Addams Family. Yes.
Hang on, I have to save this so I can open it.
In the Wednesday vibe. Yes.
Yes. Very much so.
So I'll let you show that, then I'll explain the boys because the boys is way better.
Yep. Yeah. Have a look at how happy these two girls are to be alive. Whoa.
Teenagers. Typical teenagers. Whoa. That's what I reckon. Typical teenagers.
If looks could kill, Dad, I fucking hate you. That's. Whoa.
Well, I told them to lift up their heads. I'm like, you look down your nose at us like we're embarrassing you, and they were like, "We got this."
Yeah, but you didn't need to really tell them that. That just gave them permission to do what they were feeling.
Oh, dude.
Well, the funny thing is they were both laughing because they got the joke. So I had to be like, straight face. Yep. The boys, though.
Yeah.
So the boys I told, put on whatever you want to. So we have a phrase here in the military that we call gooning. And gooning is just like you put on your, your balaclava, you go out, you do goon shit. And excuse my language. And so I told the boys, put on whatever you want to put on. So the smallest one was like, I'm good. I'm in my Christmas pajamas. So I literally was like, the two older boys, which you can see, one on the right's the oldest, the one on the left is the second oldest. They put on their favorite things to wear when they're playing. They grabbed weapons, Nerf guns and like daggers, ninja daggers and stuff. And they stood in. And I told the youngest one who loves Christmas, I'm like, I was snapping my fingers behind my wife to get them to look up.
Yeah, I was just saying
to look up. And then
I was just say, why are them two looking at the camera and he's looking completely somewhere else?
Because he's looking.
Because he's angelic.
Oh, he's angelic.
He's angelic. Like I wanted like the traditional like angelic Christmas pose for him, and the other two would be like, yeah, we're goons.
Yeah.
Like we just. And the two kittens, I literally handed them the kittens and then jumped away and clicked my fingers, and like my wife took the picture. So
very set up shots, but yeah, good to see.
And actually, the funny thing is, like, my wife had been trying for about a half an hour, to everyone's chagrin, and this took maybe 2 minutes for these shots.
That's because you stop being. Well, sometimes you give up the you fight the battles you can win. And getting into the PJs was not a battle you're going to win.
On the Christmas card, it says, "Happy Holidays. We tried."
Is that because you tried to have happy holidays, or
just the photos failed? That's what he's.
We tried to take the photos. Yeah. We tried. We tried to make the card.
Yeah.
Because like there's a lot of families in the U.S. I'm sure it's the same there too. Like they want the perfect aesthetic Christmas card. And, my wife was trying so hard. The kids all together. I have another one that I maybe this year, coming Christmas, I'll send you an old one.
But it's the same thing. She embrace the chaos, so to speak.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like we have 6 kids. What are you going to do? Like you didn't see the picture of the youngest, but it's basically blurry in front of the Christmas tree with her.
Yeah, she's basically just walked up and smushed her face on the camera.
She's basically trying to smush her face into the camera.
Yeah.
So.
But the teenage girls, teenaging it up.
Yep.
Welcome to parenting.
It was funny.
Yep.
All right. Next question. Monster Avery says, what's your take on... Oh, no, we did that one already. That was the one with the tier 2 bed. Oz Veteran said, are you guys booking a private venue for CitizenCon? No. One of the things we looked into do, because it's an online thing, we wanted to just do an online watch party, but they are only... Even if we did one physically, they didn't give a shit. All they cared about was Europe and America. They didn't give a crap about Asia or Australia or anything like that. So we were just shit out of luck. So yeah, I was looking at going, because I'm going to the Philippines after CitizenCon, and I was actually thinking about going during CitizenCon, and I was going to do, and they just basically said, no, we're not interested. We're only doing Europe and USA. So I was like, okay, well then I'll just do it after CitizenCon then, and go afterwards. So that's what I'm doing.
Apples and Anarchy, 100%. Christmas is for hooligan behavior.
Yeah, PD says, CitizenCon digital goodies pack always helped pay for CitizenCon venue. With this year's CitizenCon being digital, do you think the items alone justify the price? Yeah, they're raising money for the marketing of Squadron. It's clearly what it's for. And I bet you all the extra money from the other things went there as well. Just because they say it's one thing doesn't always mean that's what it's for. So
Well, and I mean, putting together these shows, even if it is a virtual show, does have an opportunity cost associated with it.
Yeah, but it's not like, so in 2018 they made $3.6 million off subscriptions. Do you really think we got $3.6 million? No. Yeah, that's my point. So yes, it does have a cost. He is correct, but what Pete's trying to say is that it doesn't justify the cost of it being $35.
For the CitizenCon goodies pack.
But that said, you are getting quite a few items in that pack. I would also say it's probably the biggest pack they've ever done. I'd have to go back and check like last year's and that, but I'm pretty sure that's why it's 30. It's usually priced appropriately, as in alignment with other years. So yeah. All right. P also says, do you have any thoughts on this week's SCL with Benoit being longer than CitizenCon itself? I thought it was very inflated and very going back over stuff we'd heard before, but I also can hear Jared in my ear saying, but it's always someone's first SCL. So that's probably why I reckon it could have been half as long and had just as much content, as an example.
And unfortunately, it's true. Like you look at CitizenCon last year.
Yeah.
How many of those and we've said that a few times, how many of those panels will we sit in there going, not you?
But again, but we both saw the benefit of it, right? We also sat there and went, well, this means we don't have to sit here and bloody connect all these dots from over the last 10 years. We can just say, hey, go look at this, because they've essentially re-summarized the last 10 years of shit. And as you were saying, there was only really two things in that whole thing that were new for us, which was the building the Bengal and building as we found out later, building the capital ships at a space station, because they'd said that was generally going to have to be at a shipyard. And then the second one was how the military ships
had blueprints,
had to be earned through rep. They couldn't just be purchased. Yeah. So
I know watching it and not being there, especially because of the horrible times that it was. I sat there and was like, this could have been an email for most of it.
You meant the SCL? What do you mean CitizenCon?
I'm talking about
right.
About CitizenCon last year, just because of the time, because
what
of
time
all
was it
the
for
information. 4 hours earlier than it was for you, or 5 hours earlier.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be honest. I think being a digital one this year, they'll definitely place it so it's better for America, US. So it'll be Australia gets short changed again.
It's like 10 a.m. here, but it'll be horrible for you.
Yeah. But like the live ones are actually great for Australia, because they fall in the afternoon for us when they start. So we watch them to about midnight. But that means it'll be awful for the Americans. But again, you're not going to keep everyone happy. Like it's just impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Like the only advantage of being at a venue live when they're doing it is it's during the day. It's but would I actually sit in the main hall again? Probably not. Just because there's too much noise around you, you can't actually focus on the things. But it's
I remember you both talking about that.
Yeah, if you're there just for the info.
I think one of you said.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think one of you had said after the fact, when you were doing kind of your retrospective thoughts on the whole thing, it was, if you could do it again, you wouldn't necessarily do it. You love the connection with individuals, but the actual being in the presentation, being there in the hall, wasn't something you would do again. It didn't matter to you as much as the actual connections with individuals.
I would leave that to the person that's at home. So like if you take how we did it last year, where Paul was kind of the one at home and we were feeding him stuff from the floor and stuff like that, I would basically let him just cover the panels, and me and Algared could have gone home and watched the panels afterwards. because that information's recorded. It's always going to be there.
Yeah.
But you're not always going to have an opportunity to talk to people behind the scenes, and I would have focused on that a lot more. That would be what I would do next time, if there is a next time.
And even if you are not in the actual main hall, there's lots of screens outside where you can actually sit and watch it anyway in that more quiet.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of the devs were. They were watching it out the back.
Do you feel like your time would have been better spent maybe engaging with the community, like doing not necessarily paying attention to what's on the screen?
A lot of that community, but a lot of that community was sitting watching the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess what I mean is similar to this format, right? Where you can engage, not necessarily immediately, but you can take questions and share your thoughts on certain things. To me, when I see anything that's done reveal where you have, two streamers, which you are, like, sitting there and, reacting to something, it is the engagement with the community, not necessarily the content that matters. So like
So maybe
is that how you spend the time? How do you spend your time?
It will kind of like what we said behind the scenes, but like the best stuff for me with the very first bar system was the best one by far.
Absolutely.
I learned more in that one night than I did in the rest of the event. And if I wanted to meet the community, I think probably what I'd do is the day after, maybe we have like a meet or something at a pub or something like that. But me and Algared have learned after doing multiple bar citizens, music is bad. And to give an example, the Friday before that started, they blocked off an entire street of nightclubs and locked it down. That's where they had all the buses. It was awful because you couldn't talk to people. You just had to yell in each other's ear to say anything. So I hated it. Right. And I much prefer just being in I would have hired out a gymnasium and literally just had rows of tables. And if you can't have the alcohol too damn bad, I'd rather just sit there with chips and soft drink and talk than have to have the alcohol and the music. It was just really annoying.
What got me is they booked out the whole street.
Yeah.
They basically had all the pubs lined up.
Yep. And they still let them play music. Tell them just not to play the music.
Yeah, turn your music off. We don't want the music, or put it really low. So, but
I agree.
And the whole reason they were doing it, right? There's a psychology between why nightclubs do this. Is they've found that if you can't talk to each other, it makes you more awkward, so you buy more drinks. So they're just doing what they regularly doing, where CIG needs to go to them and say, we just don't want any music, or we don't want it above a certain volume. Because, again, just not being able to talk was useless. And we also had learned after 4 nights of going to bar citizens, we got sick of walking around everywhere. So we just picked the first one, walked in, and sat there the entire night. And we heard other people say later on that ours got full, and they couldn't get in. They knew we were in there, but they couldn't get in to see us because they wouldn't let in more people in the club.
In the end, there was a fair few of us just at the table where we were, and it wasn't just you and I, but you, me,
some people elected around.
So what did they do in the street? Did they have any tables in the street?
Apparently they had a whole section cleared off, and that's where a lot of people were. They're outside. But again, after 4, I also had that problem with my foot. You got to remember that. So I just was sick of walking. I just didn't want to go anywhere. One of the things we didn't tell John or Ben, but when we had lunch with John or Ben, I literally had my shoe off under the table because it got that bad. They didn't even know I had a problem with my foot, but it was I had literally this giant blister on my foot. And it just, all good.
But actually, in terms of CitizenCon, the highlights for me were just not necessarily the panels, but it was actually the engagement with people. The people.
There wasn't enough of it though, was there? Algared? It was always little small ones. I'd go to the toilet and I'd run into 4 people going to the toilet, and it was just 30 seconds here, 30 seconds there. I remember running into another content creator. His name's eluding me, but I literally saw him for 10 seconds. He was from the States. I saw him for 10 seconds. That was the only time. I ran into I'm gonna forget his name. He's from Yacht Club Citizen.
Yeah.
What the hell is his name?
Tim
Citizen. That's it. Sorry, thank you. And I ran into him, and I saw him for 20 seconds. That's the only time I got to engage with I wanted more community engagement, and there just wasn't anything for that other than the bar citizens. But because the bar citizens were just all on blast, it's like I got to see them, but I didn't get to actually connect with them.
For me, the highlights were when we were going to the restaurant.
Yeah.
And we get out of the Uber, and there's John and there's
Aaron and Brian.
Aaron and Brian.
So we
outside another pub. Yeah. So we end up spending 20 minutes talking to them.
So we're ironically going to meet Moist Noodle, Darklaw, and Henkin, and Piggles was coming with us at a Korean barbecue place. And we they drop us off in an Uber, and here's Aaron and Brian just outside another place. So we ended up talking to them for, as you said,
20 minutes or so.
Yeah. And the funny thing is they know who we are, which was really weird. We didn't expect them to know who we were, but they remembered us. So it was just kind of cool.
So
that was
do you feel like they would benefit from having like a content creator section of these events where just the content creators can get together in one location and just be able to, like, maybe one of the first couple nights or maybe the night before the event starts, like before the official event starts, where you can just connect?
It's hard because I did pitch that idea to Moist and a few other people, and they said that they would organize it, but it never eventuated. So one of the ideas I had
what if it was run by CIG?
Well,
CIG hosted
one of the
content creator night.
One of the ideas I had was, when we got accommodation, was get like an Airbnb and get like a mansion or some shit and put like 20 of us in one place. When you go back to the hotel, you're just naturally going to be hanging out with each other anyway.
And basically, stream to each other's channels with the discussion and everything else, and just do whatever. That is not what I wanted, because again, some people wouldn't agree to that. It was literally just hanging out together. You're putting words in my mouth.
But if CIG sponsored it, I guess this is my thought on it. If CIG sponsored it and said, "Hey, we're going to do a content creators night the night before CitizenCon starts," and they put you up in a hotel or just arrange for you to be in a space where you could all be together. People, no music, people could be streaming. It's just like a cross-pollination thing that I think, like,
that also then creates haves and have-nots. If it was a go-ahead, I'd want it to be a go-ahead from the community to say, yeah, you guys hang out and we'll just watch. But then again, where's the cutoff to? Who do you let in?
To me, I look at it more as, the value to the community, and that's a hard part, right? The cutoff is always the hard part. But the value to the community is the ability to be able to network. The content creators networking to me and getting the community to see their engagements and that you have those relationships is not something you see on the content. Like, you and let's say Morph, right? When have we seen you engaging? Once?
When we have our shows. Oh no, it's been on three or four times now, but I get your point.
But the idea is like it is that, like, hey, we're all here to celebrate. You're not special. You're there because you put your time and effort together and you want to network with your fellow, content creators. Now you bring up a good point, which is
it's kind of like
where's the cutoff?
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about two things here, right? We when we're doing the virtual bar citizens during COVID, I said to Griffin, who organized the public ones, I said, let's do a content creator one. And what happened though was there was so many people that turned up, and I'd say in excess of 60 people that I didn't even know. And when I looked up because I'd say their name or whatever, and you'd look up the thing, and they'd have like 3 subscribers.
Yep.
And so I have thought a little bit about what this cutoff would be, and I think it's very simple. It's what YouTube and Twitch make it, and that's monetization. So you've got to have like you've got to have an affiliate on Twitch, and you'd have to have like 1,000 followers or whatever on YouTube. And I think that's that's their benchmark. So that's the benchmark you've got to have crossed.
I think I have a better idea, and I think Lemming would agree with me, which is we should basically like do the same thing as a ship showdown where you guys have to all fight.
We're carrying sumo suits and just it's to the death. yeah. But
I just want to see I want to see Algared versus Execute in sumo suits. That would be.
We'll probably do that. I'll do that for
probably
charity.
As much as a gladiator.
Yeah. I have to give Algared an advantage. Like I've got to have one in my back or something.
I don't think he needs one, man. He deals with teenagers. I think he's got you.
Oh, maybe. But
I think Algared would come in with his champion.
Yeah, Piss Poor Pete saying 450 pound on Algared. Yeah, he's already pegged in bets. But like because the main problem with that one that was there was just so many people, and they all wanted to talk all the time. And I kind of, and I don't want to make this sound rude because it's going to sound rude, but I wanted to converse with people that I knew and I kind of saw as my peers. But there was literally like maybe 4 or 5 of us that I actually knew, and the rest were just like more. I remember Morph was there. And I can't even remember. Griffin was there. There was only about 4 or 5 that I actually knew. The rest I just saw, and I don't want to say. I'm going to say it in a rude way. I'm going to say, but I saw them as tourists, like people that were fans that they were highly passionate, but I'd never seen any of their content. And I the one that I did discover there was the Poets, and he was really big on TikTok. I didn't know he existed, and when I looked him up, I was like, oh, he's actually, you know, and I now talk with the Poets on Twitter and stuff like that. So it was worth it to thing, but like there was just, I would say 90% of the people there were probably wouldn't consider them above the bar. And it sounds really rude to say that. Like, I know it sounds like I'm literally making haves and have-nots. But I put this. People get watched for different reasons, and if you are not crossing that bar, there's a reason why. And I don't know how else to say that without saying it in a rude way.
And it takes time to gain traction as a content creator. Like that's the hard part.
Yes.
Like you might be incredibly successful. I mean, look at space, right? Like, I mean, astronomical rise. Like the first year versus the year after was like,
I remember the very first discussion I had with him. He only had 600 subscribers, and he said, "No, you guys are way bigger than me. I'll never get that big." And I said, "Dude, within 12 months, you'll be bigger than us." And he goes, "What do you mean?" And I go, "Well, because I know when people are coming in and they're doing well." And literally within 12 months, he was past us in subscriber.
And he had a unique, he had a very unique take on it. He was new to the game, but like clearly appreciated the game, and it was like a really friendly way for like less. So the one thing about the Inforunners, I think you guys have always talked about this very honestly, is that it's a high bar to watch the content. Because the content is deep. It's not surface content.
Not for everyone.
It's like Billionaire Ninja.
You
know, he went through and watched
all the stuff.
All the stuff, all the videos, all the ship videos. He's swallowed it all in a very short period of time.
Probably need to get him back for another show. I've just been
we do need to get him back for another show.
I've just been too busy to get him back. But again, look at Piss Poor Pete as another example. Like he plays the game, but he doesn't see his content as engaging or important. I think he does a really good thing because he entertains people, right? He might not see his content as informative or interesting, but I love watching him because he's funny. It's the same reason I watch Tomo. Except Pete's funny and Tomo's a clown. Like they're both funny in different ways, but I enjoy watching them because of the entertainment value, right? And I also go out of my way to ask Pete his opinion on things because he'll often have an outside perspective that I wouldn't have thought of, right? And they are valuable as well. That's one of the other things we do in Inforunners is we try to value as many opinions as possible. When I'm getting back to that thing about the virtual bar citizen, though, when there's 60 different opinions, it's really hard to manage. And I think that was the problem. It was just a little bit too big. So how do you?
They did tend to be fairly big.
How do you? Well, you were there. You were there. How weird was it? Like there was just. It was like there was like 5 to 10 real content creators, and the others I just didn't know who they were. And you know, a lot of the people I looked up, they I think the largest non-one I found was he had about 250 subscribers, right? But where is that cutoff? And I didn't like to be mean, but like at some point you've kind of got to realize, well, there's wannabes and people that got there, and I don't know how else to say that without being really harsh. Yeah, up and coming. So I don't know where the cutoff is, but one of the things I suggested was like, because I said, there's probably not enough people if you cut it to those people that are on monetization, but maybe they can bring a couple of people on that they think are deserving, you know, to kind of, you know, make it so everyone can bring 3 or 4 people that want to be a content creator or something like that, you know, but just opening up to everyone, it was too much.
I think certainly you want to limit the numbers by doing it. If you're claiming to be a streamer, you've got to have X amount of support, i.e. meet the benchmark. But
okay, so well, Hustle Bones is saying I'm being a rude prick. Well, I'm trying to. I'm trying.
Have you not been here before?
Yeah. Have you not been here before? But I'm literally trying to say, how do you cut people out when there's too many people?
Yeah.
How there is no real fair way to do it. That's what I'm trying to look at. Hustle is when you've got to make the hard call. How do you make the hard call? And I'll put it back to essay. When you've got to make a hard military call, you sometimes you just got to do it. And Griffin didn't want to make that call, and that's probably why there's never been another one, because everyone that was there that was like considered a bigger content creator, it just was really overwhelming. There was just like a lot of wasted space and a lot of just talking.
And then you had people who decided they wanted to go just because, hey, I'll get a queue
thing.
So,
and
I know people who rocked up right near the end just so
there is one person I'm picking in particular, and you know who I'm talking about. He when we talked to him at the start, he didn't want to go, and then when he found out about the cube halfway through, he was scrambling trying to get in there. And you know who I'm talking about, but I won't mention him by name.
But there were more than that. That was several people doing that, and so
I think there's also a problem when you get too many of that. I think it's type A personality in a room together, where everybody wants to talk and everybody wants to be the main character. That there's a really big problem there.
That was the problem. A lot of people just wanted the limelight. They weren't there for. That's what I'm trying to get to, right? And so how do you limit that, right? How do you because I wanted to, as I said, I wanted to spend time with my peers and you know when you get you'll hear often content creators talk to other content creators and they can instantly have that rapport because they know what each other are going through. That's what I kind of wanted to do, but I wanted to do that off camera, and I wanted to kind of like socialize a little bit, but I couldn't do that because I was in a room full of people that just wanted the limelight. They wanted center stage, and it was just really weird.
I think this is going to change with CIG, and I do think it's going in this direction. You guys may not agree with me, but I feel like there's definitely closer to launch of Squadron 42 going to be more focused on content creators and bringing you guys in for like solo events where it isn't as a whole community. It's just more focused on the ability to market and support the online community of the game. And that is through you. And it doesn't feel good in some ways because of the way the game came up.
So I'll talk to y'all later.
Later, Lemming.
Lemming.
Good talking to you, man.
Lemming.
Hey, apparently we've pissed Hustle off enough that he's left, and he says, "Don't answer my questions." So okay, well,
sorry, Hustle.
All
right.
Miss Paul Pete says, with the Apollo rumored to be an upcoming variant, any premonitions or thoughts of what it might be? I think we kind of did a video on that with the Apollo Phoenix. I think that kind of covers it, unless you want to go over that one now, Algared, anymore. Or USA.
No, that's pretty much. Well, watch our video when it comes out.
That's already out.
All right, watch that video.
Moss Avery, possible engineering is a big question as to involved. Will it be shipped for in combat, taking damage, and only operating regular conditions? They do not keep it relatively manageable, in my opinion, to be fun without being too sim, which they have been moving away from. I think you've got to wait and see how it lands, to be honest with you. And I think you cannot have those big ships without having engineering. It is their benefit. And I don't think it's going to be as bad as people think. I think it's been made that way because a lot of people don't like change. And moving away from that single seat fighter meta is scaring some people.
Yeah. Look, I look forward to engineering. I'm dreading it, but I'm looking forward to it. Because it's going to change. The game is going to be totally different once it comes in. And will you be able to take a multi-cruise ship by yourself? Yep. Will you be able to repair it if you need to once you get out of trouble? Yep. Will things go wrong when you're mining or salvaging? Yep. Will you be able to repair your fighter if you get out of trouble? Yep. But you'll have to EVA to do it. But it's going to change the way we do things. Everything's going to change. A bit like when Death of the Spaceman finally comes in, the way we do things will change. So I'm looking forward to it. It scares. It's scary as, but yeah.
What about you, SO? You looking forward to engineering?
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like I share some of the worry about engineering that I think a lot of people will espouse, but don't realize that what they're really concerned about, which is I don't think anybody wants to be tied to a console. Like they want the Star Trek experience of running around engineering, the exciting engineering, right? They don't want it just to be able to stay on the screen and have to move dials or bars up and down to like play a mini game. And although I think some ships as their current design, especially the older designs, are kind of locked into that, or even newer designs. The Polaris, the engineering room's a little too cookie cutter for my taste. I feel like that's not what CIG wants engineering to be. They want it to be a dynamic experience. Similar to what we had talked about with torpedoes on the Polaris or other gameplay where you're more actively engaged in the gameplay. So I get the concern about engineering. You don't want to be tied to a screen in the back of you don't want to be in the Super Hornet just playing with buttons in the back seat, right? Like you want to be involved in switching between things. And I think that's where CIG is going. I think it's going to be a balance of you have to run here, do this, go here, get this fire extinguisher. It's going to be far more dynamic than I think people are expecting in the end. And
out of the original plan.
I can't say this enough. Be patient because each ship, engineering is going to be very similar to other ships that rolled out in different systems where it's going to be one thing at a time, one ship at a time. Don't expect every ship to get engineering. There's going to be balancing issues at first because of that, and just be patient and try to improve the gameplay, give them feedback so they can make every ship a great engineering experience.
Yeah. It was interesting that you raised fire extinguishers and things, because one of the things I was going to say is, how do you feel that fire and needing to put fire out and the fuses are going to tie in with engineering? Because I actually think they're really
same
fine.
system.
Yeah, same system. So the engineer will run around with a fire extinguisher, will run to the fire and put it out, and then change the fuses and then fix the other part that may have gone. But sorry,
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm super passionate about this.
I'm done.
I grew up with Star Trek, The Next Generation.
Yep.
How many times did Geordi run to the bridge and run to engineering and run to the bridge and run to engineering, like through the hallways? I want that experience. And I think we all do. The funny thing to me is that the sci-fi that we all grew up with kind of perfected what we want in gameplay through what people who watched the series enjoyed. And so they refined the writing to reflect that. And we all want like the 8th season of Next Generation. Like we all want the combination of different things. And like, we're not going to get that complexity. There won't be people beaming from one part of the ship to the other, but like we have the chance to get think of Han Solo running around the Millennium Falcon, saying, "Don't get cocky, kid." That's what we want. Like, oh crap, I got to go take care of this. I know my ship better than anyone else. Scotty knew the Enterprise better than anyone on the Enterprise, and Kirk would admit that hands down.
Yep.
Bad news for you, SA. It's really, really bad news. He said, "I like this guy." You're in real trouble now.
And to
actually, tell that is people
that is a stream I would
that
watch.
think I'm a douchebag. So.
No. You would piss poor Pete doing some PvP missions, like military style, like you taking Pete on military drills. I would pay to see that. That'd be great. I would be in for that. You trying to discipline Pete into.
Oh, dude, that's not how this works. Discipline is not the part of it. It is the hey fucker, stop that shit. Like it's really like a, hey douchebag, like don't do this, do this. And so the weird thing about like when you. I don't even know how to explain this. And it happens in gaming and it happens in the military. And you and I have this, X, because we play other games together. How many times have I told you shut the fuck up?
A lot.
And there isn't a personal thing to it.
No, it's just like
passion.
It's like knowing when to be quiet, especially when we play Hunt. Like it's knowing when to be quiet, when to move, when not to move. It's all learned. Because it started out like I was teaching you, and now you teach me because like you've kind of got the same knowledge I've got, but now you've got this military experience that I haven't learned. So it's this kind of leapfrog thing.
But there is a bluntness, but there's a respect. Like, we're here together. I need to get this point across to you.
It's for the game.
You're
it's
not
not
shutting
for
the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. It's like quiet. Because you want to really listen in, Hunt. So it's like quiet. Shut up. And you know, so it's like, not them being rude. People, it's because they need to hear. It. Yeah, the game requires it. Yeah.
I remember trying to land on, I don't even remember what station it was, but this was like it was when I got back from this last deployment, and you were trying to coach me into the landing, and you're like, slower, fucking slower. And I was like, going in too fast and too hot. And I felt like I knew what I was doing, but I hadn't played in a year. It's my first time in the verse playing, and I completely misjudged the SEM. And I just, I literally bumped in the front. Yeah, exactly. We didn't blow up. But still, it was just like
from what I remember, it was pretty much red everywhere.
But almost blown up.
My whole point is that, like, whoever you play with, I love playing with new people. I don't take it personally. We're here to have fun. If I didn't want to have fun, I'd go do fucking army shit or real world shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to be blunt, like, I'd love to play with Pete. Yeah, the most you and I played some pretty, like, I think the funniest hunt I've ever played was with Space.
That was so
with
good.
The three of us.
I love that so much.
Because he never played it before in his life and dominated.
He just
everybody.
dominated. It was so good. I was like, because I was expecting like the regular, like, shit movie experience.
We gotta coach him through,
and it's just like bang,
encourage him.
Bang, bang.
Like, it did everything perfect the first time. We were just like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
No, well, if Pete's up for it, I'll get you guys together, and maybe even after the show in a minute, Pete can jump in and we're gonna have a chat.
Now, going back to the discussion we had about the gameplay and the things we're looking forward to in the game, and as you talked about, the things we grew up watching, the sci-fi shows. Chris grew up watching those as well. Like, why does the Connie have its turrets top and bottom the way they are? Because the original idea was so you could call down, "Yeah, I got one." Don't be cocky. It was that type of vibe that Chris wanted to have in the game as well, and
which is why we love that ship.
Yeah.
Like, that ship is so imperfect now, and like, I still want to love it. Like when you did the Phoenix Apollo episode, and like everything you were saying about the Connie and like the Apollo, and like part of me agreed with everything you were saying, and there was a part of me being like, no,
and part
leave the Connie imperfect.
I like the Connie as it is, and
it's a trash ship. Leave it a trash ship.
And I get the same feeling like when X says, "Oh no, the Phoenix needs to be." No, but yeah, I get exactly, because like I'm the same. A
lot of it though, Algared, is just what if, that.
Yeah. But
sometimes we do ridiculous episodes that are completely pie in the sky speculatory, but they're just fun to play,
But the idea to go with where things could go is probably the more in an ideal world. But yeah, but everything we talked about in terms of things we look forward, they're the same type of things Chris has been looking forward to and wants in a game.
Yeah,
he wants that experience. So I think in the long run, that means we'll get them.
Like, that's what scares me, is that, like, so all right, so if I had to criticize Chris, I hope you're listening to this right now. I hope, like, randomly you're watching the stream. Man, like, you cannot keep it in the wheelhouse. You just freaking expand and go and go and go, which is, by the way, is why I love the games you've done.
Yeah.
But God, I mean, Star Citizen could have already been out if you just would have drawn it in, and it's not a criticism of Chris's dreams and aspirations, because I want to play the game he wants to make. I think we all do. He's a dreamer like us. He sees the potential of having a complex universe. The first time he said the economy will drive itself, I was like, thank freaking God someone gets that. Like, the game can guide us. You're on rails, but you don't feel like it, and that's what I think Chris wants. But God, the design creep, like, and to me, my own personal peeve with it is the graphics. Like, I love the high fidelity, but like, I would have played this game in like we talked about it previously, Ultima / EverQuest graphics. SWG graphics, and I've been like, if it had the complexity of Chris's dream with that crappy of graphics, with the jump to light speed expansion of Star Wars Galaxy's level of graphics for the ships, I'd have been fine with that, because what I want is the gameplay.
I think the other token of that is, even being high fidelity now, we're already starting to see a little bit of drop off, and then you add 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah. Well,
so
I think we're chasing a unicorn.
Yeah, you kind of want it to start there because it is going to drop.
That's fair. That's fair.
The last week I was playing a bit of the one horse game. What's the game called? What did they call their game? Redemption.
Red Dead Redemption?
No, Kingdom Come. Sorry.
The one horse game.
Yep, the one other game. But like, that was being developed back in 2014, the same time, right?
Yeah.
And
they've now got a sequel. Yeah.
And now they're doing the sequel. Now, I was playing that and I was thinking, man, our graphics are so much better.
But it's also the tech as well, isn't it? Let's be honest. There's a lot of tech in there.
Like, I was thinking, the characters move. The character feels clunky when he's moving. The
same. It's the same with Hunt Algared. You go back and play Hunt, and you can't believe that they started at the same place. Like, they are completely different engines now.
You even look at I can remember them talking about swapping cloth tech, and the cloth tech in Hunt is not Hunt in Kingdom Come is good, but you still get it clipping through way too much.
Yeah, you've only got to try out some, like the new ASD armor with the cape, or a few of the others. It's top notch.
And that to me is what I really like about Star Citizen. That it's just so much better. And look at cloth tech, and that's Chris's baby. That's something Chris has really, really refined, and it is top notch.
There's one person in Twitch that's this crazy user, Algared, Brentley67 says, "I know what you meant, Algared." He's the only one that knew what you meant, but he knew what you meant.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I mean, that's the thing I give Chris a ton of credit for, right? Because he's the innovator, and any innovator, as soon as you innovate, you're behind.
Well, that cloth, that cloth tech was done by Chris. He did that directly.
Well, my point is not just that fact, but the idea that no matter how good the fidelity is, no matter how good the mechanics are, as soon as the game releases, you're already trying to catch up to yourself.
Yep.
Like, you're trying to make it better. You're trying to, because that's the technology, right? So I get why Chris has drawn the line in certain places where he has, because he wants a game that's relevant. Like, he wants it to dominate the space so that it can inspire and they can get the income they need to continue to develop it and improve it with upgrades. But that being said, I'm one of those gamers where I want the fidelity. If the Mark I Hornet was the only Hornet we had, which now we look at it and we're just like, God, that's trash.
Yeah.
Like, remember when that announcement was done and we were just like, oh my God, is he standing on the ladder of the Hornet, like getting into the cockpit? Like, it was, where we were, if that game, if we were at Star Citizen, 2.0, where you kept your progress, but you got 5 different systems and added to it every 2-3 years, I think we'd be in a different place. And I think that the method that he chose, which is all or nothing, has given us an incredible design, but it has cost us years of gameplay, but saved a ton of time of development. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it is. And I can remember Chris even talking about the way development was, and people saying, why didn't you do what not No Man's Sky, Elite Dangerous did, where they put out the game and then build on it? Or you start with this system rather than that system. And I can remember just saying, yeah, I could have started with this. I could have started a brand new code. I could have done this. But I decided we'd start with this one. That gives us a leg up to go where we want to go. We could have then just put out the game and then tacked on the other systems later on, or we could build it from the ground up. And either or were valid arguments as to how you do the game. But I think what approach Chris has made has taken longer, but I think the benefits for the game overall are significantly better.
Oh, like I've never heard Chris talk about like other competitors to. I mean, yeah, we have a lot of qualities of Freelancer in Wing Commander in the game now, but like I look at SWG and I'm like, oh yeah, Chris clearly took some of the lessons of what the deep gameplay of SWG could have been or was, what people were dedicated to, and he adopted them. And same thing with Eve. There are aspects of like that that the game has developed on. We're going to get that fleet command. We're going to get those bridges with the hollow tables, the ability to be able to command multiple vessels and do coordinated attacks. He gets it. Like he gets it. Like, I mean, the reason why I think we're all on this journey and why we spent thousands of dollars is because he's the first developer that really understands what we want.
Yeah.
He is one of us, essentially. And when I sat down with him and did that interview a decade ago now, the thing that I walked away was like just realizing how passionate he was. And I think you agree with that, Algared, in Brian Chambers, Aaron Roberts.
Yep, you see it in Brian, Aaron, any of them. And yeah, I was going to say it was the same when we sat down with
Ben and John.
It was the same when we ran across Brian. It was the same when we were.
It's what drives them.
So the funny thing to me, and like I don't know any of the story of like actually how this whole project came to be, but the Wing Commander movie.
He just didn't really.
I watched it.
He didn't really succeed in Hollywood like he wanted to, so he went back to games. Well,
no. So here's the point I want to make about this. I watched it when it came out. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was bad, but bad in a good way. Like it was clearly the person making it loved sci-fi, like loved the game, wanted it to be. He picked good actors. He picked a decent story. It was clear that it was like a passion project without experience, right? Like he wanted it to be something better.
He did want to use the characters from the Wing Commander series, so he wanted to get those guys in, but the producers wouldn't let him. They said, no, go.
The studio actually made him use those three because they were up and coming movie stars.
Yeah, they're up and coming.
And it was the last. It was Freddie Prinze Jr. It was like the last thing he ever did.
Yep.
He never.
What is the other actor? The one that was in Scream.
Yeah, he didn't go very far either. Like it was one of the last things he ever did.
Yep.
Because they did Scooby-Doo before that. And then they did that, and then they just didn't go anywhere. And the woman, she went on to do other things afterwards. But the two guys, it was the last thing they ever did. He didn't.
I didn't.
Freddie Prinze Jr. basically married Buffy, and he's just become a dad. The guy that was in Scream, he went off, and he didn't come back around again until they did. They did a remake of a movie, like it was. They did a Netflix movie and he was in it because he was in the original, and that's the first time he's done a film since Wing Commander. Like it killed his career for like 20 years. And again, as I said, Freddie Prinze Jr. He's just gone. So it did them as much harm as it did Chris, so to speak. Yeah.
But Chris actually wanted to take the characters. So go on.
I watched it again about 5 years ago. Like it was right after my. Not this last deployment, but the deployment before that. Just because like it came up like in a feed of something on my like whatever service it was.
Yes.
And so I watched it. It was just like me chilling. And the funny thing to me is like that movie has a ton of potential. Like you look at it and you're almost like, this is your first draft of a movie. When I look at this game, I feel like when we got the original pitch, we got the first draft of Star Citizen, and then it's evolved. And I look at the Wing Commander move the same way. And you can see how Chris thinks. Like Chris is saying, these are the things that points I want to hit. And then he looks at it if he has time, which you don't in a movie, right? You got to make money. Like you have to put it out. You have to make your money back. So you can't revise it. But with this project, he's been able to go back and say, you know what? We have more investment from the community. We're going to work on these things. We're going to work on these things. We're going to make it better and better. And I look at the game we have now and it's gorgeous. Like it is, once, the basic systems, logistics management, scanning, like the things that we know are about to hit, engineering hit, this game is going to change in ways that people never theorized. It's going to be bad at first. It's going to be clunky. It's going to be the same thing we've seen over and over again. But, when Nyx gets added, this game is going to become legendary because you're not just going to have two systems. You're going to have this complex weaving of how the same thing they pitch in all their videos. The universe is yours.
Yeah.
All right. We've got 3 questions left, and then we can call it a day. So I'm going to move us along. Parker's saying we're tangenting like a crazy mofos, and he's not wrong. We've tangented a lot this.
That's me.
It's all good. It's all good. All right. Gothic Shadow says. Gothic Shadow says, do you think medical will ever be a profession to make money out of? Absolutely. I think that's a lot of the moves that we're seeing are towards making it profitable for the med runners.
And I think, you know, the cost of doing stuff, when the med runner says, hey, I need to charge you 50,000 and you say that's a lot, and they say, yeah, well, you know, the med goo's costing me this much. And I've got to prepare my ship, and so
Parker says favorite tidbit from the SCL with Benoit. There was only really 3 bits in it. The Apollos coming the next day. I said them all earlier. I've now forgotten. They weren't very. There was not a lot in it. Like as we said earlier, for people that have been following the project pretty closely, it was just basically we're not where we want. Oh, engineering by the end of the year was another one, and I can't remember, but yeah, there was nothing really groundbreaking in the whole 3 hours. It was really just like we're you know, this is what we've been going for. This is where we're up to, and it was a nice little update. I think I think that kind of clearly told me that stuff's not going to be talked about in CitizenCon. Would you kind of agree with that? That's why that was there.
I think the stuff, anything we see in SCL on those big episodes where they talk about stuff we won't see at CitizenCon is that would be my guess. But
last question for today is Ivy, who says Idris T1 Medbed downgrade. What's your take on that? Will it stick with CIG reverse decision? Again, balance and gameplay. We did have this exact question earlier.
We did have that exact question earlier, and I think, but even the tier 1 beds were supposed to only be in hospitals. That was the original argument. So ships like the Endeavour would have the tier 1. The planet hospitals would have tier 1. Some star bases would have tier 1, but that was about it.
It's the intent of the system. Like, the system's going to evolve.
I will say about your comments about watching Wing Commander only 5 years ago, SA, that's you know, you need to go and watch it again. I think I've watched it probably half a dozen times, and it's a fun flick.
Agrid's been sick a lot. Agrid's been sick a lot. You can see why.
5 years.
You can see why Agrid's been sick a lot. Anyway. All right, we're going to be rating Paul today. He's checking out the Apollo with Loken. Ask him their thoughts on it, and just let us know. Give him a big sloppy kiss from Algared, and big sloppy kiss from me, and chuck one in for SA too. Why not? You know, one on the forehead, one on each cheek. Let him show him the Inforunners love, and wish him well. All right.
Yeah, and we'll no doubt do our review of the.
Well, we'll do first impressions.
Later.
First impressions this week.
First impressions later.
All right, then. Twitch say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube say goodbye to Twitch, and they're gone.
Bye, Twitch.
All right, let's listen in.
Somebody share the mission again. I was not paying attention.
He's got to put his hat on.
He's got to dance like a monkey.
Does.
Monkey.
My name is Paul Berserker One Batman Shelley. Your humble host of the Spaceport.
I'm tired now.
Yep. Oh, you know, 3.5 hours.
No, the dancing.
Nice, I like it. Style.
Yep.
I need to get people together for the show tomorrow.
I feel bad for Paul. His school year just started.
Yes, stop.
So I'll figure it out if we can get somebody in there. How y'all doing?
Oh, he needs people for captain's table tomorrow.
We want that one.
We should chuck Yes in under the bus.
Yeah.
Mutual defense.
Yeah.
You're free. Join him for the captain's table.
Actually, Piss Poor Pete and SA. Table.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve that.
He's been trying to get Piss Poor Pete on there for ages, and he won't go.
This is the
He won't go.
Petey.
We're gonna have to give you shit, Petey.
I've done one with him before.
Petey, you're gonna have to get on there. Petey. Yeah, but it's fun. It is fun. Yeah, it's fun.
It is fun. It's a commitment.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. All right, we'll leave them to play on the Apollo. Me and I are gonna probably have to get in there to
check it out.
Get ourselves, and we'll do our first impressions for the weekend. But leave the review until it goes live, I think, because I want to see some more of that medical stuff, and some tests and stuff. But we'll have to get in and check it out. Well, thank you for
need to do that. Yes.
Thank you for joining us. It was a very pleasure having you. Chance aside, it's always good to have you. We tangented enough as it is. Thank you, Lemming, too, for joining us. It was great as well.
Most enjoyable having you both here.
Yeah. Other than that, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Thank you everyone that went the extra mile on Patreon at the end of the video. Anything else you want to add, Algared or SA, before we leave?
No.
No, just thanks for sharing this passion with us. Anybody that stayed with us.
Yeah, I think it's just the time. It happens as more people.
Oh, for me, it's perfect. For you guys.
11 a.m. for us, so it's our morning gone. It just takes up our morning.
Out our morning now gone.
Yep. All right. All right then. The voice in the void has been SA. He's been Algared.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
Dear citizens, say goodbye, SA. Don't.
Goodbye, SA.
For fuck's sake! I
Good
knew
boy.
as soon as I said it, he was going to say that.
You knew that.
Yep. You know what I mean.
Yep.
Bye, everyone.
Did indeed.